Hello and welcome to Sheer Fucking Hubris, a podcast started by three buddies, three Star Trek fans who every week watch episodes of Star Trek and then talk about it and discuss it. And we'll give you the good, the bad, and the sheer fucking hubris. Because this is, yet again, another episode of the good, the bad, and the hubris. Oops. Sorry. This is a special Pride Month episode of Sheer Fucking Hubris.
What?
So, yeah, Warden, it's Pride Month. I don't know if you knew that,
Oh, really? Okay.
but
I'm surprised my husband
yes,
didn't say anything.
well, he should have. You just heard from my partner, but not Pride Month partner, not that way, but you know, Biblio Warden,
Yo.
and I'm also joined by my other partner, Mr. Willie.
Hello. Oh, Joe Bob, I don't know why you bother having Warden count you in. We could just beam you in at the last possible fucking moment, like everybody else.
Tennessee might intercept me and hold me until the end of the episode.
Yeah, it's true, they might.
Oh boy, gentlemen, we survived.
We did. We made it. And what a ride it's been.
I feel like, oh my god, I feel like Burt Reynolds at the end of Deliverance. I finally made it down this goddamn river, not unscathed, but alive.
Oh boy. It was a hoot. That's to say the least.
It was a hoot because this
But-
week we wrapped up all three seasons we were watching, that being season 4 of Star Trek Discovery, season 2 of Star Trek Picard, and season 1 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Was one of them better than the others? Was one of them great? Was one of them terrible? Who knows? You'll have to listen to find out. Oh boy.
I would suspect that if anybody has been listening to us at all, they would have some idea of where this may be going. But I'll let you continue. Sorry.
Well, let me just start off with Star Trek Discovery. We've been leading up to this confrontation with the Tennessee that we started last week, and then Book and Tarka fucked that all up. So now it falls to our protagonist, Space Jesus Michael Burnham, to save the day. And because we can't properly pace a goddamn thing in this show, instead of opening up, where we should, we zoom in on the Federation headquarters, which is flying through space, headed back to Earth. Because apparently we got to get our Tilly fix. And so they start, they're beaming people up, and then as soon as they fill up part of it, they
Pop the
shoot 'em
Lego
out.
off and
I guess, is that called an ejaculation?
Jesus.
I don't
may
know.
as well have been.
Now we know, Warden, why it's built like a fleshlight.
Yep.
There you go.
And
That's fair.
we see Tilly coordinating it with Admiral Vance because they're two characters we know. And
Some cadets.
and we check in with the cadets that we built such a rapport with during the season, and they stand there and ask the admiral in charge of the whole goddamn Starfleet stupid ass questions that have no bearing on the job at hand, and he answers them like a jackass. I don't know, but then my
I mean,
favorite.
you gotta figure, even using current numbers, you got 7 billion people on Earth, and you're gonna say 750,000. I mean, what is that? 0.1%? Something like that? Less than
I
that?
think that would be right, huh? 7 billion, 700 millions 10, 70 millions 1, 7 millions 0.1, 700,000 is 0.01, right?
0.01%.
And
That's
it wasn't even 7, it was half of that.
That's a hell of a hit rate.
Oh boy.
That's a rounding error.
Yeah, that's true. But then, this may have been my favorite part of the episode. Tilly, honest to God, says a prayer to Space Jesus Michael Burnham. She's like staring out the screen. She goes, Michael, wherever you are out there, I hope you hear me. Please save the day. I was like, oh my God, we're actually praying to her now. I mean, it makes sense in the context of this fucking show. So I guess Tilly's the smartest one on the fucking crew. So we cut back, and Burnham's like, I hear Tilly praying, and I will answer her. But first, they're still stuck in the sphere. So she's like, we got to get out of the sphere. Because Tarka and Book they've gone. And Tarka somehow, I don't remember, he initiates evasive pattern plot
Presto
element 6.
changeo.
That was great, by the way.
That was great.
And he's like, where's the fucking stupid ass presto changeo in this Transformerzoid? I was like, thank you. Thank you. That's so goddamn stupid, Tark. Tark is a man of science, and he's like, this is such bullshit. I'm not going to give it a real name.
Oh, man.
So he presto changeos, and that just totally scrambles the 10C's fucking brains, and they run into each other or something. I don't know.
It was like a Three Stooges skit from there on out.
It really is. And then meanwhile, back on Discovery, Space Jesus is pissed because somebody has betrayed her. So she's looking for Peter because she's like, who did it? Who fucking helped Book? It's like, round up all the usual suspects and lock them up. And Doyle's like, that won't
There's
be
no
necessary.
need.
It was me. She's like, well, guess what, bitch? It was working. And she has this look on her face like, oh boy, don't I feel sheepish. And, so she goes back to Tennessee and she's like, I'm sorry. Could you please let us out of the bubble? And they're like, but you already have, because they're so fucking intelligent that they don't understand the possibility that they might be, individuals. They think they're a cooperative or a collective, or maybe they just sense Burnham. I don't know.
They are one, and one is already out. Therefore, all are out.
Right.
But these ones are no longer with the one, and the ones who are here, although they were once our ones, are no longer the ones with the one.
You just said 17 times.
Well,
counting.
It was probably pretty fucking close.
I mean, that's what they said.
Close.
You didn't write it, you just recited it.
Exactly.
So.
It sounded like Bender giving a prayer. 100101.
Oh, dude, you missed the best part of that. Hold on. You missed the best part of that joke. If you're gonna do Futurama jokes, you got to do the best part, which is it's in the words of the great prophet 101100001111, and he goes on and ends it with 2. Anyway,
right.
So they've decided, they're like, oh, so they're a collective mind, kind of like the Borg, and President Scrooge is like, no, not like the Borg. We're not doing the fucking Borg. That's a Picard thing. No, they're different, okay? Oh, meanwhile, back on Transformerzoid, I think Book is trying to talk Tarka down. He's like, it could be your redemption act. Your redemption arc for this season. You've got to let him go. What would Oros say? We can't kill people. And Tarka's like, oh, if Oros was here, he would try to stop me just like you are. But he's not, so I'm just going to stop myself.
Meanwhile, we got a goddamn holographic cat door.
I know.
Which was still pretty small for them to crawl through.
It was totally... she didn't use it, did she? She just looked at him and was like, really?
Well, they get out. Book gets
out. Get out? I thought they got out because the Tennessee things, something exploded.
No,
Did
he
she
got
go
out
through the cat door. Jesus Christ.
Book had to, because he goes out and he wallops Tarka, right? That's how they were hugging. Like Oros will be doing the same thing because he got out and tried to stop him.
Oh god, it's so
Had a
stupid.
jailbreak.
But then let's see. Back on.
If
I think it's
only it'd have been much better if there'd have been a poster of Rita Hayworth on the wall, and that was how he got out.
Glory be, it's a miracle. What about you, Fuzzy Britches? You got anything to say?
Oh, she's just shy.
We have made Shawshank jokes. I don't know how many times this season. We've made a lot. A lot. It's a
Well,
better show than
it's
this.
better than this.
So yeah, so on Discovery, meanwhile, Stamets has figured out how they can get out. He's like, but it's gonna burn out our spore drive, so there will be a heavy price to pay. Like, okay, I guess we got to do it. So they,
Yeah.
and then
Blow their
finally it
way
burns
out.
them out, and they go. They start chasing after the Transformazoid.
Mm-hmm.
And for a chase, Cardinal recommends his excellent 24 Cabernet. You can't have any Warden, you're too young.
I'm sorry.
That movie's better than this too.
Oh my God, random Three Musketeers reference from
Yeah.
the early 90s. Holy shit.
Holy shit that you made it, or holy shit that somebody picked up on it.
Both. Both, actually.
Rochefort. Isn't that smelly kind of a cheese?
Oh my God, there are kids everywhere that knew what Rochefort was. Way before it was ever really socially appropriate for them to know. I'll be honest to God, I still might not know it was a cheese because I probably just would have not noticed. I notice it now because I think of
Because of that.
Rochefort.
Oh man.
Oliver Platt, you taught me so much.
As he taught us all.
Come, D'Artagnan, we're saving the king. So
Wait,
good.
ain't you Porthos the pirate? Ah!
Okay, guys, Star Trek.
So-
Star Trek.
No, I don't wanna. I don't wanna. Oh boy. Okay, well, speaking of pirates, let's get back to Book and Tarka.
Right, yes. Yeah, so Book gets out with the cat collar, which, by the way, was a gift from the Tsarina of Tokyo.
Oh, jeez.
Sorry,
Stop it.
I will stop
Stop
it.
Three
I will stop it.
Musketeers. This
I'll
sash was a gift.
So Book says to Reno, he's like, they're gonna have this. He's like, here you go. You just beam back. Here's my communicator. She's like, what? You could have done that this whole time? He's like, yes, but no, it was when the script told me to do it. So tell Michael I'm sorry, and she can blow me. She's like, got it. He's like, no. I mean, blow me up, but also tell her I love her. She's like, all right, blow you up. Got it. So she.
Now beam straight back to the bridge and tell her post haste.
And that's what she does. She's like, hey, your man loves you. He says, blow him. Burnham's like, oh, he called the old Ryza maneuver. And she's like, well, we can't shoot him for some goddamn reason. I don't remember. So we'll have to launch kamikaze attack.
Nope. You skipped over a part. At every other point during the season, we're going to use a tractor beam. And so we'll just do it now. And they're like, nope. This is the one time in the galaxy, in the universe, that a tractor beam won't work. So they're like, well, shit. I guess we'll have to kamikaze him.
And it's going to take a great pilot. And Detmer stands up, solemn look, and Owo's like, don't do it, Detmer. You're still a young man. And
But it's okay.
Burnham's like, it's going to be the heavy price we pay to save the galaxy. And then Ndoye walks in and is like, nope, you get a refund, I'll go. And I'm like, how the fuck are you on the bridge?
Yeah. Tell my president I died saving Earth.
She's like, it will be a heavy price to pay, but I'm willing to pay it. So Ndoye goes and she flies her fucking ship right into the side of it, killing her. And then they say, "Oh
Presumably.
no!"
Yeah.
They're like, "She paid the ultimate price." Oh no, giving Doye a refund too because we got her. Like Book, they're like Book paid the ultimate price. It is a heavy price, but someone had to pay it. And Tarka held on to his little thing and said, "Maybe I'll see Oros." And I'm like, "No, no, no! You're just gonna blow up, you stupid
Me-
asshole."
Meanwhile, there is debris and shrapnel and stuff hitting Earth, so Earth's still in dire straits. And
Yeah,
and
but
this is when Tilly also decides to pay the ultimate price, along
oh
with
yeah,
Admiral
Billy and
Vance.
Vance are gonna pay the ultimate price.
They're gonna cover the escape.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
There's a lot of consequences to this episode.
there are. It was a very emotionally heavy episode.
It really was.
So they got Ndoye. Book didn't make it. Tarka blows up, and the 10C invite them down to the planetoid.
Yep.
Right.
And they say, "Everybody whose name is in the opening credits, come with us.
Yeah.
We need you all, God damn it."
I'll do it.
So they go down there, and even though earlier in the episode they were trying to communicate, and Burnham was like, "Explain to them that Tarka and Book aren't with us. Like they're doing their own thing." They're like, "I don't think that we know their language well enough to explain this sort of nuance." But now they get down there like, "Please tell the Tennessee that we have come from far.
Jesus
And
Christ.
we feel like we could really connect with you, and
when I
we believe."
texted you
And I'm like,
guys,
"What the fuck happened to not being able to How are you saying this with
when I
smells
texted you
and
guys,
numbers?"
when I texted you guys and said I would love to see this fucking equation, that's what I was talking about. Because we go from 3 plus 4 is less than 9 to like this, and of course President Screw finally shows up and just gives this just abomination of a speech, and Saru's just typing away over there. I'm like, what is this? It's like a TI-82. I mean, what the fuck is he? How is he doing this?
Like,
But
and the dumb thing is Tarina mind melded with them earlier. They could have been like,
Mhm.
"Oh, she transferred. She sent our language to them, so now we communicate." But no, we're just somehow through spraying proteins and flashing lights, we're saying all this gobbledygook, a full-on fucking Michael Burnham speech.
I mean, spraying proteins can say a lot, but
well, it said enough to make them completely reverse course on everything they apparently have believed in and done for
millennia.
yeah.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't. It just got them to stop at Earth. And then they're like, "But why are you still so sad, Space Jesus, Michael Burnham?" And Michael Burnham was, "Because 1 + 1 - 1 equals
Just
1. And I'm sad because he was my one." And they're like, "Well, look what the cat door drug in. We
looky
intercepted
here.
this and thought it might be important." And zoop, there's Book. I'm like, "Oh, I guess he gets a refund too." And then he turns and they're like, "Look, we saved the Earth. They're just gonna mine in dead areas of the galaxy." He's like, "No, it's not good enough. They can't ever do it again." And so then he
Have you
turns
noticed
on.
that Joe Bob's impressions are better the more he hates the character? Warden?
I did notice that actually.
Like it's when he really hates a character, he by God commits to making fun of those characters.
I like to think it adds something for our viewers, okay?
Yeah.
God damn it. So he turns around and does his Care Bear stare, cutie mark bullshit, and they all do their Care Bear stare back to let them know they got it.
Yeah, what a fucking.
I
Oh, is
think,
that what it was? It was the forehead lights.
Hmm.
there are forehead lights.
I thought he
Oh,
literally just like
jeez.
he just Quajoned them, like, and they, you know. All right, well that makes more sense then.
Willie, I want to see that equation.
Oh my god.
I'm on a roll tonight.
Yes,
God.
you are.
My father was a musketeer too.
Why don't you go like turn down the thermostat, man? God.
Y'all are hurting my feelings.
All right, keep going. We got to get through this.
Yes, we do.
cinematic
So we
masterpiece.
get a full on 360-degree Care Bear stare going, and they agree that we're all gonna be friends, and they take down the hyperfield, and they're like, "Well, we still paid a heavy price because we won't see home for another 4 decades or whatever." And then they're like, "But a transwarp conduit's opening up. You get a refund." And back
Like
we
Oprah's
go.
favorite things this episode.
Back we go to
Tilly and Vance,
Earth.
who got a refund.
Tilly and Vance are like going down with the ship, drinking whiskey, and Tilly's like, I'm really happy with my life. And I'm like, well, you fucking would be. You have made it miserable for me, but I guess that makes you happy, Tilly, and good for you. And Vance is like, oh, well, I wish I had seen my kids more. And Tilly's like, I had a mom, fucker. Anyway, they're like, well, it's a heavy price, but we'll pay it. They're like, nope, you get a refund. All these asteroids just turn around and go the other fucking way.
Mm-hmm.
And then Michael's back. Michael's back, baby. It's Easter and Jesus has arisen. And we all hug and laugh and everything. And Book comes. He's like, I know I survived, but now I've got to pay a terrible price. I'll probably be in prison for the rest of my life. Some of these guys' minds are Kessel smashed into who knows what. And then President Scrooge comes in and says, reasons matter. Yeah, you nuked the sector of space. Yeah, you broke like 18 different laws. Yeah, you almost
sabotaged a Federation ship.
Fired on a Federation ship. You get a refund, though. It's like, what's my punishment? It's like, you got to do like a week with Habitat for Humanity. He's like, are you fucking kidding me? That's it. And then he tells Burnham like Kawiki Yo-Yo or some bullshit. He's like, it means whatever it means.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
We'll part again. I don't know. And then we're back on.
We've parted 100 times, and we'll part 100 more, or whatever. It was something stupid like that. That wasn't far off.
Like that. It's something only hunt. He's like, it's a Pride Month saying when we hunters have been out in the woods too long.
Everybody looks good.
Yeah. Anyway. So then we have to wrap it up by going back to space dock. And President Scrooge is like, okay, the president of Earth is coming and we've got to get them in the Federation. So we'll pay whatever price is necessary. And then the president comes and
once again, this show shits on white men again.
And out comes the president of Earth, who I assume became president when she ate the last president of Earth.
Oh, shut up!
Oh, Jesus. It's like the water bottle planet on Futurama.
That was a good episode.
Geez. That was a good episode.
And she says, you get a refund because there's no price to pay. We ain't come here to talk. We come here to federate. So we're joining up. And she says, thank you, President Stacey Abrams. And thank Michael Burnham.
Oh, man. But I'm gonna walk Michael Burnham over to the window to thank her personally. And something I could have totally just said in front of everybody. There was no point in walking over there to say that. But
dude, that's the same corner they've walked over to every time something important was going on to have a little side fucking conversation. All season long, it's been, holy shit, this is important. Let's two people walk over to this corner where Giorgio's fucking telescope is and let's talk.
They could have just put the privacy bubble down.
It's the talking telescope.
That sounds like something from Dora the Goddamn Explorer.
It does. That's what was on purpose, actually.
I'm the DMA, the DMA, the DMA. Arca, no swiping. 4 seasons. 4
Jeez.
seasons, and this may be the weirdest rabbit hole we've ever gone down.
That's true.
No, it's not. But it's a.
The
What's
night
the-
is still young, Warden.
What is your pick? What is your pick then, Warden, for the weirdest?
I.
I know I'm putting you on the spot. Sorry.
There are too many. All
This
of them wonderful in their
episode-
own way.
This episode was not
Wait, you left
bad.
out. Well, I don't know. You left out the best part.
Oh, I did?
Yeah. Yeah. I've been waiting for it all season that Tarka did find Oros.
Was
It
that
was
in the
a-
post credits?
Yeah, it was a mid credit scene. You didn't watch it?
No, I guess I missed that. I was so
Yeah,
happy.
You missed that. So all right, so go to Google. I'll tell you what to type in. You'll find it. Okay, you ready? All right, type in. No character in this goddamn show ever has to live with the negative consequences of their actions. So why should Tarka? Star Trek Discovery, and it'll pull it up.
Well, that kind of ruins my joke because I was like, the only person that had any consequences whatsoever was the poor white dude.
Oh, I'm lying. It was not there, but I am
okay.
convinced the entirety of the episode is people don't actually have to deal with the negative consequences of their decisions. So why should anybody believe that Tarka was any different? Tarka totally got the energy to make his transporter work, and boom, he found Oros. Just the same way as everybody else had a positive, happy ending.
This episode was constant fake out that something with lingering consequences was going to happen, and it didn't.
Never did.
Nothing happened with Tilly and
None of
Vance.
it.
Nothing. The spore drive burned out. They could only repair it at space dock, but they got right back. Book died, and then
Book
he
got
didn't
community
die.
service. Oh yeah, he died. Didn't
And
die.
then he got
community
yeah.
service.
And the sentence of death has been commuted.
Laura Pente.
And then kill him now and get it over with.
And then, yeah, and
Detmer
so
was going to sacrifice herself.
Didn't have to.
And Ndoye was going to sacrifice herself. Didn't have to.
Didn't
even have to like answer to the fact that she fucking sabotaged the mission.
Yeah.
Like,
Saru wound up getting with Tarina, right?
Oh yeah, Tarina, you thought something bad might happen to her. No.
No, she didn't.
No. Zora just set this one out. I don't know if we mentioned her.
Did we even see Stamets in this episode? You were talking about how we saw everybody.
Yeah, he said he was going to take a long needed vacation with his family.
Oh, that's right.
And Adira's still like, I don't remember signing any adoption papers. But
yeah, this episode pissed me off so badly because of that. Because every consequence that was out there where a character made a difficult decision, we just swiped it away and said,
most of it immediately.
Just kidding. Yep, just kidding. I mean, the only real moment in maybe the whole show was when Burnham thought that the Book was dead, and it's like, nope.
And let me give her credit because she acted the shit out of that scene.
She did.
Mm-hmm.
There was more emotion there than a million Burnham whisper cries.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't matter because he was there because they intercepted his pattern buffer and they brought him back. Look, I know the last episode we said it's going to be really hard for the writers to deliver this final episode in a way that's totally unfulfilling unless they try. God damn it, they gave it a hell of a shot, is all I'm going to say. Because I was just pissed through this whole episode because it was a total fairy tale in the end, right? I mean, nothing happened. Nothing of consequence happened. Everything that the Federation set out to do, they just did. They had to pay no prices for it. There was no, there was nothing real about it, right? Like you can't build a season like you've built and then let everybody have a happy ending. And I'm serious. You will never convince me that Tarka did not find Oros because why did everybody else?
No, they were making a comment about the world today about how the system is rigged so that it's always the poor white man that the system just never works for him.
Maybe
It's always
so.
everybody else that gets off.
But no, it was just like I said. I'm not gonna say that it was. It was definitely not as bad as season 3 or one of the 2 endings of season 1. But it was a pretty shitty way to end the season. Like, I mean, it at least there were some good scenes as far as building it up. But then by the end, when they just tied it all up with a bow, I was more aggravated about that. I would have been on board with just about anything they had done except tying it up with a bow so that everybody was happy. I don't know how y'all felt
Well,
about it.
then I
I
bet
feel
you
very
did.
strongly
I
about
bet
this.
you love the Star Trek Picard season
Oh my
finale.
God. We literally fucking hugged on that one. Jesus.
So I thought this was a pretty good episode, right? For Discovery.
For Discovery, it was a good episode.
Warden,
Sure. Yeah.
what was your favorite thing about this episode? We lost
Grudge.
Warden. Oh, Grudge.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Let's just need him. He'll beam back in.
Oh my God. Deus Ex Philonicus with his collar.
I just, because, I like cats, so why not?
I like cats too. I liked the cat door. That was probably my favorite part of the episode. I liked Burnham's speech, or not speech. I liked she did a good job when she thought Book was dead.
That is
I
fair.
didn't believe for a
Yeah.
second that Book was actually dead. I was like, they're going to have intercepted the goddamn signal.
Of course. Of course. Yeah.
I
No,
thought
that was
Ndoye might die. I actually thought Detmer might die for
I
that
thought
split
Detmer
second.
was gonna go. And then I thought Tilly there were so many chances for them to have made this an emotionally impactful episode. And it doesn't check out with what they've tried. Like all the dipshits who like this show, that you get banned off Reddit from for arguing with, are always talking about how like strong the emotional, you know, uh, um, the emotional strings are in these episodes, right? And how like they just do such a good job of just drawing out these emotions in you and making you really feel what they're doing, and which they don't. It's stupid, you know. But they actually had a real chance to actually maybe do that, and they just totally whiffed the ball. I mean, like I said, it was like a Three Stooges skit at the end. I mean, just oh well, fuck it. The good was Burnham's acting when they thought Book was dead, um, and the bad was pretty much everything else about this episode. And the
Yeah.
good is that Tarka found Oros.
I told you they weren't going to let him find Oros.
Oh, Warden fucking take his victory lap because he said they'll do it in an ambiguous way where you don't really know.
Oh
Well,
my God, you're
I,
counting this as ambiguous?
I'm
I
telling
mean,
you, he found him. The transporter worked. He found him.
well, you know what? Fuck it. Okay.
Nobody else. I'm telling you, nothing. Nobody else has to live with a negative consequence except the Orion dude who pissed off his aunt. And she beamed him into a transworm that wasn't supposed to hurt, and he gets fucking eaten alive, screaming bloody murder. That guy did have to live with a negative consequence.
Not for long.
That's true. Not for long.
Willie,
Joe Bob, what was your good?
I
Or what
just
was your
said I
bad?
like the cat door, and I mean, you nailed the bad. It was the not just that there was a lack of consequences, but people were prepared to pay the price and then didn't. It was the fake outs too. I'm just like,
Right. It was very cheap to just write in that. All right, we got Ndoye beamed aboard.
fool me once, shame on
Yeah.
you. Fool me 9 times, you're writing Star Trek Discovery.
Did you guys really think like that some of those characters had any chance of actually dying? I mean,
I thought Detmer had a chance. I thought it was possible that they would kill off Detmer.
Because they'd built up the whole fly good, be a good pilot, dealing with trauma.
And
I
she's the
thought
one
that
that's
one.
mastered her trauma. I thought there was a chance. And then I thought, I mean, maybe they kill Ndoye because who fucking cares?
Right.
I never thought they'd kill off Book, even though they should have. Never thought they were going to kill off Tilly or Vance, even though they should have. Never thought they were going to kill off Tarina, even though,
I really thought they were going to stick with they'd be stranded in extragalactic space and had to find a way home, because that would have been a palatable consequence to pay. Right. We're going to save Earth, but we'll probably never see it again. But at least we did it.
I thought they might do that because
And
it's
do a
not even really
Voyager.
that big of a consequence for them, because it's not really like that's their home that they're away from. I mean, everything that they knew and loved is 1,000 years in the past. So
Right.
really, what's being an extra 40 light years away from home, from Earth? Who
Yeah.
cares?
If Tilly hadn't stayed on the ship, Vance could have died. Like the Kelvin, but
mhm.
yeah, I mean they obviously weren't going to kill off Book. They weren't going to kill off Detmer. If they'd have put her on the shuttle, they'd have saved her too. I mean, they have so precious few characters in this show, they can't kill them off, which is why I didn't think they would kill them off. But you could have had some kind of consequence for these people, or like you said, Ndoye, who gives a shit? Don't let her
Yeah.
die. Like, let her die, or let her, go to prison for what she did, right? Like, all right, you can join the Federation. That's probably why Earth didn't negotiate, because they're like, our top general is kind of a terrorist in the Federation, so maybe if we just play this one cool, they won't. They won't. They won't. They won't bring this one up.
Yeah,
But
that's true. That's a negotiation tactic. Come in before they have a chance to present their
and I
terms.
and I haven't done it yet, but was that actually Stacey Abrams? Because if it wasn't, it was spot on.
No, that was
The
Stacey Abrams.
it legit was.
Yeah, because I was like that. I was like, damn, that kind of looks like Stacey Abrams. And then,
Oh,
yeah,
jeez.
yeah, it didn't win her the governorship though.
No, it didn't.
She
Well,
was.
she leapfrogged it straight to the straight to El Presidente.
It only took her 1,000 years to get elected. She still didn't carry Georgia in the election of 3197. Boy.
So, uh, as a whole, on the season though, probably the best season of Discovery.
What? I was actually about to ask you guys, is this the worst season of Discovery, or is it still season 3?
Oh, it's definitely season 3.
Yeah, season 3 is the worst.
See,
Season
okay.
season 3 was the burn. I thought the I'm trying to look at it holistically here, right? Season 1 had a good like 5 to 6 episodes, and then they didn't know what they were doing anymore. Season 2 had a few good episodics, but I thought that I guess what I'm saying is, even though the landing sucked, they somewhat stuck it better than they certainly stuck it better than I feel like 1, 2, or 3.
Well, yeah, it's the best wrap up.
Well, that's
But
what I'm talking about.
the final 2 episodes of this season are the only 2 worth of shit.
That's
Maybe
true.
the one where they went to the asteroid that the Native Americans stole from them, but that one was okay. But all the others were terrible.
Well,
And see,
I'm speaking of the arc wrap up. That's
okay,
what I was referring to.
okay. Well, let me ask this: as a season as a whole, obviously it does not crash and burn and into a giant tub of shit the way that season 3 did. I mean, I don't know that you could have a worse season wrap up than season 3
I
had.
don't even know how season 3 ended.
They found Sukal. They went through his scary doors in
yeah,
his
but that
mind,
was
and Osiris came and tried to kill somebody, and Space Joe
Space
Diffie
Joe Diffie
died
and the
in
Turbo
the
Lift.
Monsters Inc. chase.
And there was a whole Burnham is John McClane thing, and
And they blew Stamets out of airlock
It's just
temporarily.
no consequence there either.
It was terrible. Look, it
Well,
was terrible. But
I thought the
season
burn
3
thing
also
was earlier than that, but
season 3 also started off pretty good. The first third to half of season 3 is the strongest run of Star Trek Discovery, I think.
when Book was fun, when you were
Book was
exploring the
fun.
future because you didn't know what to expect, the mystery of the burn. Yeah, I'll give it that. That was
Sentient
probably
ice villain.
basically until they found out what had caused the burn.
Well, no, it went off the rails when they had a 2-episode backdoor pilot for their Section 31 show.
that still hasn't emerged, and now is a movie.
Right. That's where it went off the rails, when they went back to the mirror universe. And then everything after that, I think, was shit. Well, actually, maybe it went off the rails with Unification 3, but I think we had 1 or 2 good episodes, or okay episodes. We had the fun Prison Break episode, remember, where we busted Book and
Yeah.
the Andorian out. We had the Seed Vault episode that I really liked. It's still one of the best Star Trek Discovery episodes. We had the Quajon episode that was not terrible.
But those were all first third of the season.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was a solid first
Okay.
third of the season. There's nothing in this season of Star Trek Discovery that approaches any of the fun that I had at the beginning of season 3. I mean, even these final 2 episodes they'd make a decent episode if you a decent episode of Star Trek if you combined them together and cut out a bunch of shit. So I don't know. This may be better than season 3. It's hard for me to say. I mean,
I think it's better than recency bias is probably what's getting me. It had a stronger finish than the other seasons that I can remember.
yeah, but good God, what a low bar to clear. This season was more of a slog the whole way through. The whole way. The DMF never grabbed me. I never gave a shit about it. I didn't care about seeing the tent. It just, at least the other seasons started off with an interesting premise and kind of fell flat. Yeah, this wrapped up a premise that I didn't care about. I don't know, Ward, what do you think?
I don't know. I mean, everything you've said is valid. I kind of feel like the drop off after that first third in the season 3 was so precipitous. In that I just don't know if that first third of a season can make up for it. When I mean, season 4 has been kind of terrible and milk toast, but at least it built a little. I mean, at least by the end, it was reasonable. Well, reasonable is probably a strong word. Not terrible. I certainly don't think that it's the best. Season 4 is the best season of Discovery.
I agree.
No. Season 1 is the only one that it could be.
1 and 2 are far superior to 4.
I mean, do I need to remind you that season 1 had Lethe?
I don't care. I would rather watch Lethe than most of the episodes of this season.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It was that. Again, this season was it was an absolute chore to get through in a way that not even season 1 was.
Well, season 1, you got to remember, you were bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, right? I think we had rose-colored goggles with season 1.
Nah.
I bet if we went back and watched season 1 now, of course, you
I'd
would have
still
lost the
love
big
Lorca.
reveal. Yeah, Lorca would be good, but you would have lost the big reveal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of go into it, knowing that, but I don't know.
Season
mean,
2 gave me a
everything-
real thrill when she put on that goddamn angel costume, and I was like, "That's right."
She's literally an angel.
Okay. I mean, I'll concede this may be better than season 3, marginally. It's no Star Trek Picard season 2.
Ooh, no, it is not.
How you like that segue, bitches?
Hug it out, boys. Let's hug it out.
Hmm.
Come here. Come here. Quit looking at me
All
like freaking
right.
Frankenstein and give your father a hug. Give your mentor a hug.
Oh my God. Well, from an actual space Jesus Michael Burnham to a wannabe space Jesus Q. Star Trek Picard season 2, episode 10. Fare thee fucking well. Oh boy. Well, this this season of Star Trek Picard was a jointed goddamn mess. I'd still say that it was maybe all an allegory for like a descent into Alzheimer's or something. Oh man. But shit finally happened last episode, so now we got something to build on. Let's see, I think we start off at the chateau when Girardi's told him one Renee lives, one Renee dies. By the way, I feel like did we pretty much script out this entire episode? Because everything that happened, I was like,
Yes.
oh yeah, we said that. Okay.
Yeah.
There really weren't a lot of surprises here. As Billy likes to say, they were telegraphed. What hath God wrought?
Mhm.
Was that the telegraph or the telephone? That was telegraph, right?
I don't fucking remember.
All right. So, yep, they're so they're at the chateau. They've got no ship anymore. They've sent the Borg Queen off, and for some reason, even
She's
though
a nice
the
Borg queen, though.
she's a nice Borg Queen, and even though she presumably would not necessarily want soon, so Girardi convinced the Borg Queen that they don't need the future where she gets wiped out. But she didn't think to stop Soong, who apparently hightailed it all the way back from France to Los Angeles in like an hour and a half. I guess. I don't know, because he got back there really fucking quick. Anyway, Picard's like, we're on the right track. Because see these bullet holes? I remember them as a boy. And I'm like, do you remember the fucking Death Squad transported into the walls from when you were a boy too? Maybe that's why the basement's so goddamn scary. Oh shit! I wonder if those were the like ghosts he was seeing in his visions, were the things that had been transported to the walls. That would be brilliant. That's not what happened.
Yeah, that's not what happened because it would be brilliant.
Okay. That would also be really weird in the chateau in France, but I don't know. They might just write it off as like some cask of Amontillado shit. Anywho, she's like, all right, well, I'm going to go do my thing. And Picard's like, no, I know what you're doing. You're going to hang yourself. And she's like, no, get that off your fucking brain. But I am going to kill myself. He's like, no. She's like, look, you didn't kill your mom. You're not killing me. Let me get the hell out of here. And, you know, it's like... So she beams away, and he grabs a hold of her, does like the Dr. Anderson at the end of Star Trek 4. Surprise! I've never understood how that
But they didn't
works.
actually have to touch, right? He just had to get in the zone.
Oh, I thought he grabbed her hand.
I thought it just got in the zone because apparently it beams a square.
I don't know
It's
how
like
any
it's
of
more
this.
like a portal than a transporter.
I don't know how any of this shit works. And then for some reason we go to Soong's place. I don't know why we went to Soong's place.
Because they thought he might have been there. And so
Right,
they
so
were going to go there
They
to stop
thought he
Soong.
might have been there, and then when they get there, they hear his voice playing. He's left a voice recording playing for some fucking reason. They're like, it was a trap. And I'm like,
Because he's a diabolical genius. That's
doesn't
why.
it makes no goddamn sense to me. Explain to me why the computer recording is playing. Can anybody do that?
He had to throw him off the set.
They immediately saw it was a recording. And all it did was alert them to, well, obviously something's going on. Because didn't the recording talk about drone launches or something?
Mm-hmm.
They're like, behind this wall, I see 4 heat signatures, and they open it up, and I'm like, oh shit, you better fix those before they go.
I don't see. Here's the problem with this show or with Soong. Soong in 2024 would be a fucking filthy rich defense contractor with all the shit that he's built. He didn't
No.
need to worry about building people, right? If he just sold all the technology he had to the U.S. military, he would have been able to retire on an island earning 20%.
His morals are too high to become a war profiteer.
Oh, you're right. Captains of industry, captains of starships,
How did
captains
he
of
get
drone
back?
armies.
How did he get back to L.A. that fucking fast?
He bought the Concorde jet.
That's still whatever. I don't know.
The Concorde isn't flying anymore.
No, it might be in 2024.
Yeah, he bought it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Sung is like apparently really fucking rich, but I don't know.
And wields quite a bit of
Off of what?
influence, right?
This character is not well conceived.
I love this character where he goes and he's like, "Wait a minute, you mean my generous donations don't even merit me a way to bend the rules?" It's like, well, this is definitely America 2024. You nailed that one. They
And then
probably thought they were being clever, but nope, that's exactly how it works.
then proceeds to berate the project director.
Yeah,
You know what? You
will leave you
go
right
to your
here.
room. God damn it! I'm gonna go see. Anyway,
Oh,
so they've got
man.
4 drones, and for some reason they're like, "Oh my god, he's programmed them to launch one at a time." I'm like, "Well, what the fuck does that matter?" At first, I thought it mattered because they were trying to hack into him, and 1 goes, 2 goes, 3 goes, and I'm like, "Oh shit, you better hack this 4th one before." Oh shit, there it went. She's like, "I'm gonna try to hack it." I'm like, "Wait, you're doing it by Wi-Fi? Why don't you just hack all of them?" But then they give it to Rios, and he starts doing his pilot shit. I'm like, "Oh, he's gonna shoot him down." But apparently, these drones have no fucking weapons on them. I guess they're just kamikaze drones. I'm like, well, you need control of more than one, but nope. Rios lines it up. He's like a fucking incredible
Bull
Angry
shark.
Birds shot where he kills all 3 pigs at once. I was like, I don't buy that. That's but that was just one plan. Because they're like, Soon's not here. And Picard's like, that's because he's here. So they're looking for Renee, and because the way that quarantine works is you go in 2 or 3 days before, and then the day of the mission, everybody can come
Yeah,
shake
it's fair
your hand.
game. Yep.
This is so goddamn stupid. So,
Thank God. Thank God.
do you
Soong
remember
didn't have
how
to go
hard?
take a piss first, though.
Do you? He just stand there like every other man that age with both hands on his hip.
That's right. Pull through
The
the hole
Peter
of his
Pan
pants.
stance. Yeah. Oh
Oh,
my
jeez.
god. Do you remember how fucking hard it was for them to get into the gala? Like how
Yes.
tight security was for the gala? But apparently, at mission control on the morning of the fucking launch, any Tom, Dick, or Harry can just walk in, grab a suit, and walk around. And Renee's like, "You're not Maya," and I'm like, "No shit, she's not Maya." Talon gets her buddy's uniform.
But she gets to give her speech.
Mm-hmm.
And because you know things about somebody, you know, you're legit.
And she's like, "Come with me if you want to not die." And she didn't really. Why did she need Renee to agree?
Further, why did she need to die? It doesn't make it. Why did Soong kill her? All he had to do was prevent her from being on the shuttle. Like,
I don't know.
why didn't he just roofie her or something? Like, I don't understand. And if you're gonna apply neurotoxin from somebody, maybe don't do a scratch and sniff in the palm of your hand.
No fucking shit.
That does not. This is rife with accidental exposures written all over it.
Sure was a good
Jesus
sure
Christ.
was a good thing that neurotoxin worked on Romulans too, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Man,
You
it's
know
so
what?
hot in here. God, my neck is sweating. Oh shit.
This was oh my
It was
god.
so dumb. But anyway, one of y'all called that. You're like, well, if she can do holographic ears, she can probably do a holographic disguise. She
Yep.
did. And so she got killed there. And
She totally didn't need to. There was
no,
no
well, she had to though.
the
Um,
the poison works fast, Dr. Jones.
antidote to what? The poison I just slapped on the neck with my palm of my hand, Dr. Jones.
Nice try, Lao Shay.
Oh my god, that was so stupid. All right, so but where are we at? So they launch, and Soong sees them launch, and Caesar reported. Soong has just had the most fantastic string of failures throughout this entire season.
Well, not
Have
only
you
that,
noticed
but
that?
Soon might want to lay low for a while because he might be wanted for murder. I mean, he's done a lot of
Murder.
illegal shit
Yeah,
that I would think, like, you know, I don't know.
but somehow the man
Especially
who
if they
has all
found,
this shit,
like, what
he's
was
got
his
all this
plan?
stuff.
What was his plan once they found Renee's body? Considering, like, he went there, I'm sure there's cameras everywhere, and he's like, I want to see Renee and I want to see her alone, God damn it. They're like, oh, we just found Renee dead from poisoning. It's like, no, it's natural causes. They're like, her eyeballs turned blood fucking red. It's not natural causes. You Soong is
Picard
not
disposes of the
smart.
body.
Well, I'm saying, what if Picard had not been there?
Yeah.
What if he had gotten to Renee like he was supposed to, and Renee had keeled over dead? But anyway, it's Talon, and Picard comes, and he's like, I, 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 I got to talk to Renee, and I realized
See
Picard,
Renee. She
she
looks
looks
glorious.
glorious. Like, it made me realize you should fuck somebody you care about. He's like, you want to fuck Renee? He's like, no, no. I mean, you need to let him inside you. And he's like, you, you want her to fuck you? And he's like, she's like, no, fuck Laris. I am still this fucking show, this stupid goddamn show with characters who look like other characters that aren't in any way related to other characters. I don't understand why this bitch looks like Laris. I don't understand why Soji looks like Corey. I don't understand why Time Cop was not a Time Cop. Soong, I'm willing to give a pass because his name is Soong. But the others, I don't fucking understand.
What do you mean time cop is not a time cop?
You know the FBI agent that was named
Oh, okay.
Wells that played a Time Cop in Star Trek Voyager? I was
Okay.
like, oh, he was the guy that came back and fixed timeline stuff and the temporal version of Agent of Section 31 or whatever, the Time Cops. I was like, surely to God, that's what they're doing with this, because otherwise that would be 100% completely pointless. Well, turns out it's 100% completely pointless. So anyway, Talon dies, and we care because she looks like another character. Because I don't know, there's only like 7 actresses in this show. It's like a fucking Shakespeare troupe where they just all play different characters. Oh my god! All right, but anyway, they get to see the launch, and it makes her so happy.
Yeah.
And
So soon, just meanders back home like nothing happened.
listening
And
to it on the
then
radio, and he starts.
and, and Soji stole his Google Oculus or whatever it's fucking called, and gets
Right.
in and literally starts deleting all his files.
He sits down at his computer like he's going to masturbate to his scientific research, but as he goes to open up the video, it starts deleting it. And because we don't want any fucking question over how many of them she deleted, the computer voice, no computer ever says that, pops up and says 100% deletion confirmed. And he's like, no, god damn
No.
it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh man.
so he decides, well,
The break cannon is what he decides to do. Or am I wrong? Was this at all canon at all what happens here?
We have no way of knowing.
Well, it is now. Then I guess I
I
read that.
mean,
I'm like, what?
I thought it was a retcon.
Retcon, nice.
Uh,
Woo, I'm full of
Retcon.
them tonight, boys.
uh,
I don't know because
Oh
it had the
boy.
'96 date on it, which is when the eugenics wars were supposed to have started. So I don't know. I thought they were retconning it to say that he's the one that's doing the work, and he's gonna make Khan, and that's why they're naming him Khan. But
well,
maybe it's just they studied what happened in '96. Maybe the eugenics wars happened and we just missed it.
Yeah, because that was my confusion. Was that is actually in the prime timeline? So that still happened with or without Soong being such a fantastical failure on all this stuff in this timeline.
they have to do some. I mean, because the if they're going back to 2024, the old the old Star Trek timeline doesn't work anymore. Because I mean,
Or we just missed the eugenics wars.
the eugenics wars
And they
were like
happened.
nuclear. I mean,
It happened in India.
Yeah, it was in
There's
India.
like a
Nobody gives a
billion
fuck.
of them.
Yeah.
Couple 100,000 go missing. I'm just kidding. If we have any viewers from India,
What if
you're all valuable.
what if the dude on the Federation outpost in season 4 Discovery was one of the Indian eugenics and he lived for like 1,000 years? And that was his cover. I'm just
I was genetically bred to be the perfect IT man. I will render you the best service possible the fastest way, and I can reduce your bill by 45%.
Jesus.
Oh,
Oh man. Oh Lord.
and
Oh,
then
that's so wrong.
holy shit, snack and crackers. And so Corey hangs up and is like, "Well, what do I do now?" And Will Wheaton says, "Well, I thought you might ask that question."
Jeez.
I'm
Oh,
like,
it's like what? Will
"What
Wheaton?
the fuck are we
I know I
doing?"
didn't. I know I didn't watch very much Star Trek after Deep Space Nine and Voyager, but what the fuck? Like, where did that come from?
I was, I, 'cause
I told you he was going to be in there somewhere.
we
It
did
wasn't the
talk.
way I thought, but
Well, and I even brought up he was a traveler when he left TNG, and he
yeah.
brought that shit up too. I mean, look, they tugged and tugged and tugged on the nostalgia dick this episode. I mean, this whole season really, but this episode they were just frantically trying to get the retrogasm or whatever the hell you call it, nostalgiagasm. I don't know, but yeah, Will Wheaton comes in, and he may have even said his name was Will Wheaton because he didn't really sell it. He was just like, "Hey, I'm Will Wheaton, and doesn't look like you have a lot to do." And she's like, "I honestly don't even know why I was in this season because I didn't do fuck all." He's like, "So nobody will miss you?" He's like, "Yeah, nobody will miss me." He's like, "Well, cool, come be a traveler with me." And then they beam away, and I'm like, "That was a waste of a character and a waste of another 5 minutes." But oh my god, jerk that nostalgia dick because we got to see Will Wheaton.
kind of make
Oh,
kind of makes you wonder why she was not involved when her same character was trying to destroy sentient life as they knew it. Like, if she was around, presumably at that point, she might have beamed in and been like, "Hey, Picard, apparently somebody who looks exactly like me is trying to genocidally murder all humans throughout the galaxy." But
I
or
I
maybe
I still don't understand why she looks just like Soji.
that's what,
I guess
what I'm
I
saying.
guess they were just I guess they were just trying to throw us off. I guess because everything was so goddamn telegraphed this whole season, they thought, well, the way we'll throw them off is we'll use characters that look just like other characters and not explain anything, and they'll think, well, there has to be a connection because that's what a sane person would think. But no, I'm telling you, it's Alzheimer's. It's because you don't remember what everybody looks like. You're like, oh, aren't you Data's daughters? It's like, no, I'm clone baby. Oh, aren't you the time cop? Nope, I'm just an FBI agent. Oh, aren't you Laris? Nope, I'm just a watcher. I am as confused as any dementia patient when I watch this season. Hmm. Hmm.
It'll be
Mm-mm.
okay.
But it's okay because Rio stays in the past, which you called, and because he stays in the past, Q has a little bit extra mojo left, and he sends Eleanor
Hold on.
back.
You skipped my favorite part because they don't know that yet. They're back at the chateau because I guess when Laris died, Picard stole her transporter. Otherwise, he's gonna have a real hard fucking time with no ID and no money getting from LA back to France. But whatever. We'll go with that. He stole her transporter doohickey. And they get back there and they're like, all right, well, we're stuck here. We're willing to pay the price. Just nobody remember, no butterflies. I was like, you said it.
Oh
You
yeah,
fucking
Rio
said it.
says,
I
yeah,
was
I'm collecting
so
all my
goddamn. I
butterflies.
was like, wait, you just sent a Borg queen 400 years early with future. You killed like 18 different Black Ops guys. You rescued busloads of immigrants and detainees.
You know, it's like my fellow Americans. Like one of the guys they rescued off the immigrant bus is going to be like the presidential chief of security. I came to this country with those guys. That's a better movie than this.
Oh, that's got a Pride Month element to it. Because the
Oh, it
sniper that
does. That's
saves him,
right.
yeah, says, "Have I met you somewhere?" He's like,
They
"Somewhere over
somewhere
the
over the
rainbow."
rainbow. Yeah, they marched in a parade.
That's
Are
a good
you?
goddamn movie.
Are you? No, but he is.
That's a good movie. We should watch that instead
We should.
of any more Star Trek. Okay, but yeah,
That
so
was
there's
back. That was back during the golden era of movies when you would just see a movie and say, "I like James Garner and Jack Lemmon. I'm gonna watch this," and then it was
Mhm.
a good movie. It wasn't. It wasn't like you see it now and you're like, "Ah, this has a good cast," and then you watch just a colossal pile of shit that they're just that they think you will buy and enjoy just because there's people in it.
Oh wow, I like every single actor in Jurassic Park Dominion. Oh no. Oh no.
You did it.
Oh.
You did it without thinking about whether you should. You just did it because you could.
Mm. Get in the fly chamber, Goldblum.
I'm
Get
still a
past your
little
prime.
I'm still a little fuzzy on why Jeff Goldblum's character was in the original Jurassic Park. Like, what did he bring to this? They brought in paleontologists, uh, uh, attorneys. What was he doing in that? How did he merit an invitation to that?
Wasn't he there to like evaluate the risk from because he was the expert in chaos theory?
He
Yeah.
was chaostician. Oh,
Yes, that was it.
was that it? Oh well,
Mhm.
maybe I
Well,
missed
now that
that
we've
one. I
solved
watched
that,
that when
let's
I
get
was.
back to this
I was
tightly written. Oh my god. Okay, so yeah, they're saying, well, no butterflies, which made me cackle. And then Q shows up. And he's like, hello, mortals. I hope we all learned a valuable lesson. And Ravi's like, you killed Eldor, you son of a bitch. Car's like, get a hold of yourself, Rafi. You're a piece of shit. And I'm like, yes, she is. And so they go talk in the solarium. He's like, why me, Q? And he's like, you're my favorite pet, Jean-Luc. And Picard puts the skeleton key back in the place because Picard's the one this is, oh god. Time travel loops are just, yeah.
You know me. I love a good time travel episode.
And this was not a good time travel episode, so maybe you're okay. And Q is like, yep, I'm dying, but I wanted to give you this And I thought, you know what? Because Wesley Crusher jogged my memory when he was like, the universe is like a tapestry. I was like, that was a TNG episode named Tapestry, and it ended with
Mhm.
one of the lines that like I love about Star Trek because it's all flowy and no one speaks this way, and it's Picard and Star Trekky, where he talks about wanting to go back in time and fix the things that he thought were mistakes. And he says, like, I had some loose threads, but when I pulled on those threads, it unraveled the tapestry of my life. And I was like, oh, that is beautiful and succinct. And you managed to tell that story in 45 minutes. And I guess Q forgot that because we told that story again, except this time it took 10 goddamn hours. But anyway, he's like, yeah, so Q is like, hey, remember Tapestry? And Picard's like, yeah, I do that. He's like, this is Tapestry 2023, the Redux. And Picard's like, God damn it, Q, you know what? I'm glad you're here with me at the end of all things, Samwise GamQ. And he hugs him, and PQ sheds a tear. And he's like, everybody ready to go back? And Rios is like, change of plans?
I
I
want to
was
stay
living on
here
a
and
barge with 5 other holographic me's, so I'm a little fucked in the head. Now I got a chance to tap this sweet Latina ass, so I'm gonna pound this until, you'd have to kill me in a bar fight to stop me from fucking this bitch. And he's like, challenge accepted.
yeah.
And Q is like, well, then no consequences for anyone. I'll just use this to bring Elnor back. But nobody gets that except for us because, I don't know, whatever. So he's like, well, this will be my final act. I will snippety snap and then will be
Off
no
into the
more.
sunset.
And he does. He gets his hug and just furiously yanking that nostalgia dick. And Picard gets there and they're like, auto destruct. And Picard looks around and like like he just wandered out of a home and found himself, on the side of the road. But he's not seeing. I shouldn't keep saying that this is like a dementia patient wrote it. That's probably insensitive.
It's very insensitive, but they'll forget about it, so it's okay.
God damn it.
I just tee it up and Willie knocks it out of the park.
Not unlike a Star Trek Discovery finale.
And then Willie called it because Picard's like, 7, take emergency command because Rios is gone.
Yeah.
So we get
Battlefield
Captain
Commission.
7. Yeah, we get the Battlefield Commission, and then there's BJ with her tentacles all in everything, and Picard's like, cancel the auto destruct. Hello, Girardi, and her mask comes back, and she's like, hello, Mister. And I'm like, oh, Girardi,
Oh my god, I know, right?
you're still the best part of this season, but I still fucking hate you. Anyway,
But I
and
tell
she's
you
like,
what, one of y'all fuckers called the shit out of Girardi wanting to ask to join the Federation, which I
Mhm.
thought was asinine at the time. But sure enough, she asks
I mean, I think collectively, like the Borg,
provisional membership of the Federation.
we again, they didn't bury the lead much on anything but the characters, and Wasoon was in this. But anyway,
So she
she's
beams
like,
all their ships over there and makes
she's
a
like,
QNet.
I just want, I just wanted, you all to be here, so because there's a big space butthole about to open up, and fire hot plasma, and I needed all your shields. And Picard's like, how did you know we would bring exactly the number of ships you needed? And she's like, it was in the script. But the Excelsior isn't right in the perfect spot. So he's like, call the goddamn Excelsior. And Rafi's like, what's the fuck's going on? And Elnor's like, Rafi, the last thing I remember was being dead on a table. She's like, Elnor,
Oh,
so I'm
geez.
not a piece of shit. And I'm like, Rafi, you are a piece of
Yeah,
shit.
you still
Like,
are.
absolutely. And then they make their little, I don't know what
I
you.
mean, thank God everything in space happens in 2 dimensions, though.
Mm-hmm. Not
I
even
mean,
two dimensions. It didn't happen on a plane. It just
yeah,
right.
that would have been real fucked if that thing had gone off like what you would expect an anomaly to do. But no, it's like, wasn't there a fucking X-Men character who like shot a laser out of his chest?
Alec did it in the movies. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't think he did it that way in the comic books. I think he shot through his fist, but
Okay. That's what it reminded me of. The
I was like,
universe
karate,
pulled
you
back
could have.
their shirt.
Yeah, could have fucking asked, but I don't know. I guess Girardi had to beam on board and go Doc Ock tentacle porn because she needed Picard to do the auto destruct because she knew Q was gonna step in and snap everybody back. Time loops are fucked up. I don't know.
So it was, but here's okay. So did Girardi come from a different timeline?
No, it's the same timeline because Girardi's gone. This is BJ. This is Borg Girardi that we
Yeah,
made.
Girardi's gone. Rios is gone, but she had one of y'all called the Back to the Future picture thing. I think it was Joe Bob.
I was really close on saying they would offer amnesty on the Rios Ramirez act, but it was that they saved the planet because her little dumbass kid used the organism that Auntie Renee found. Because apparently, so this whole thing is predicated on the fact that only Renee would be able to discover a life form, even though I'm sure that was the whole point of the Europa mission was to like look for shit.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Sure
who
thing.
cares? Who cares? It's over. Thank God it's over.
Yeah. So Guinan tells them what happened, and they cleaned. I had one ocean, one planet. Sorry, more than one ocean. This series rotted my brain. They got one planet, but they saved it with one microscopic organism. And Picard's like, well, toast to
excuse me.
everyone, and now I'm off. And he does his little pimp strut out. He's like, I'm off.
Go get some Romulan Tang. And I mean, I can't. Didn't I say that it was going to be like an 80s freeze frame picture of him kissing her? I can't believe he didn't actually kiss her. That was so lame. I mean, maybe she's like, I don't want to risk your dusty old twig and berries poking me in the crotch. So maybe she just didn't want to get near him.
Said that to...
Yeah, the actress said that. Stuart.
Holy shit.
Oh God, they zoomed out with them just holding hands. I was like, oh my God, it's like fucking Pretty in Pink right here. But anyway, Picard season 2.
Picard's got to be balls deep in green.
Oh boy.
Oh, Picard, Star Trek Picard season 2. Farewell. The season is done.
This season,
I love this episode.
Was just so hard to follow all around. And I'm still not even sure. I guess the focal point, was the focal point of the season to save the galaxy from Havoc's chest beam? Or was it Picard to get with Laris, which technically he didn't actually really do? I guess he kind of did. Yeah, we assume. Was it about him learning how to... I don't get it. Like, we just had too much shit going on.
Yes, all of that was the point.
How do they have so much disjointed shit going on, and yet I felt like nothing happened through hours of this series?
Because we came back exactly where we started?
No, because you got BJ is now the soldier on the wall. They're guarding the door.
Yeah, she's just gonna sit there and stare at it, I guess. Is that gonna be season 3?
I hope not.
The sentient overlords from season 1 come through.
I hope we are done with this. But like I said, I loved this episode. I'm sorry, guys. I feel so bad saying it, but like they got me. They tugged and tugged on that nostalgia dick, and I finally gave a little squirt. And I was like, you know what? I'm glad he hugged Q.
Oh boy.
And
Q. Come on, come in
and
for the real thing.
I've got to say this.
The only thing
too.
we missed was Q like smelling his hair when he hugged him.
They wrote this last episode about as good as, I mean, they wrapped it up about as well as they could. Like, it was so horribly muddled, and none of this season made any goddamn sense. And for them to have made any coherence out of this madness in the last episode, made any of it sort of halfway make sense. I mean, they wrote it better than any Discovery season ending. I mean, you remember how sloppy they were tying up shit in Discovery at the end of the season?
Vividly.
I didn't even mind that Rio stayed because they're like, he died in a bar fight fucking his hot Latina woman. I'm like, oh, well, that tracks.
And no, not only did he die, his last breath went through a cigar. That was fantastic.
Yeah, they said he died in a bar fight, but what they really means was he orgasmed himself to death at the age of 97.
Well, look, Al Pacino's father and children at 83. Why can't Rio's?
I didn't think I could get her pregnant.
And was
Oh, shit.
congratulated.
Damn, that was good.
Was congratulated by Robert De Niro, who at 79 just had one. So,
You know, Willie, you really ought to not be making jokes at the rate you're going. So
that's true.
It's gonna be the Pacino freezer. Just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in.
If I have number 5 at 83, I want you to come hit me with a sledgehammer.
Dude,
Please.
I'll be dead by that point. You know what I thought about? I thought, 13 episodes of Discovery, 10 of Picard. One day we're all gonna die, and we're gonna look back and be like, we spent a full fucking 24 hours watching this bullshit. These two bullshit things. A whole goddamn day wasted.
No. You want to know why? Because the Almighty's going to come out and say, you get a refund. Here's one more day.
Oh my God. Jesus, you really do look like Michael Burnham.
Oh, man.
But why are you whispering?
There's a strange red light appearing above the hospital.
If somebody is in the chat, that's artistically minded. I want like a stained glass window of like the tears at Gethsemane, except instead of Jesus kneeling down and crying, I want you to put Michael Burnham. That's what I want. Anyway. Yep. I hate to disappoint you guys, but I watched this. I was like, you know what? Fine. I'm sure. This was a good season. I think the best way to describe this season is like, what if instead of committing suicide, like Hitler had slipped out the back door of that bunker and gone somewhere and worked in like a synagogue for outreach for like dementia patients and just did that for the rest of his life. Like, it wouldn't excuse what came up to that point, but you'd be like, well, I guess that's the best thing you could do at that point. Maybe it's a little better. That's how I felt watching this episode. Maybe it's a little better. It doesn't excuse the travesty that I sat through the first 9 episodes, but
No. You were if this redeemed you, if all the nostalgia dick tugging redeemed you, you were the cheapest fucking date in the world.
What I'm saying, I feel so ashamed. Say it didn't redeem it. It didn't redeem. Look, that's what I'm saying. You wouldn't say Hitler was redeemed. You would say like, well, I guess that's good. It's
I mean,
working
I can't believe of
Jewish
all the
people.
redemption arcs that we've seen in between Disco and Picard, you go with Hitler in a synagogue. How is that? How is that the reasonable metaphor to use?
Because we had a space Nazi episode earlier in the season, so it kind of got it on the brain, and
And the Nazis did take the chateau, and he did fire a Luger.
it's a theme. You obtuse clue fuck.
Oh man.
Anyway, so what did you guys think of season 2 of Picard? How good was it?
Best season of Picard.
See, you're coming around on it too.
Well, let's think about the competition here. I mean, what would you rather have? What would you rather have? A heist episode where Picard is doing a fake French accent, or nostalgia dick tugging for 10 hours?
I
It was
still
not 10 hours of nostalgia dick tugging.
That's
It was-
true.
It
It
needed
was 9
more.
hours of foreplay, then 1 hour of tugging.
They're all full play.
I mean, let's just remember,
Keep doing that all night until it works.
about the same time that we've got the callback to the Borgs with the laser guided aiming, that was the equivalent of the vagina George O'Keeffe flowers swallowing, the Borg cube and bringing it down.
Look,
Let's just remember where we were last season.
This season is better just for the simple fact that there was more than one class of starship surrounding the big. I mean, this year your space vagina is made out of metal, so you still got that, the Georgia O'Keeffe cube. But I do like getting to see all those sexy starships.
yes.
Yeah, that part was good. And like you said, I'm a tough sell on time travel episodes, and I'm sure that there were no ramifications whatsoever of the fact that Rios and Girardi were not actually in the future, or were they, this is where I start getting confused. Were they in the future up until they weren't in the future, and then they were all in the past, or were they in the past the whole time?
Well, they weren't in the future; they were in the present until the present became the future because they went back to the past.
We have to back to the future. That's what I'm saying.
No, wait.
Like,
when did this happen?
what will the ramifications
This
be?
is now. Go back to then. Go back to then.
In fact, pass this. In fact, never show this again. Because so Girardi, like, whatever. I don't fucking care. I'm not even gonna try and think too hard on it. I don't care. It's a tough sell for me to believe that everything would have been the exact same. They would have all ended up in the exact same places without Girardi and Rios being there, seeing as they were critical to the events of the first season.
But that's the time loop. It had already happened.
When did it happen?
Just then.
When?
Oh, you just missed it.
Just go back. I missed it.
Okay, come on.
Just now.
Well, go back. Go back.
I almost said we can't stop. It's too fast. But that's two different things.
Bullshit. Stop this thing. I order you.
My brains are going into my feet.
Oh,
That is
man.
better than this. This
That's
season.
so much better. So much better.
So I mean, okay. So
But
this
see,
is
that's my point.
interpretation,
Just
Billy.
this
My
is
interpretation, Billy.
point.
Everything that happened that we saw happened already in the past and led to that moment on the bridge. They were already in the loop, in the time loop.
Mm-hmm.
Because Picard made the statement that he saw those bullet holes in the wall when he was a kid. So all that shit had already happened.
And then all of a
and
sudden,
led
they're just boom. At 7 seconds left on auto destruct, Rios and Girardi just disappear.
to the outside observer.
Yes.
The only thing that I may understand less than this time travel is
Where this is going.
Ash Tyler. Was it his body or was it his consciousness that got I will never. At the end of my days, it may finally click with me. I'm gonna be like talking gibberish on my deathbed. People are trying to make sense of what I'm saying. I'm gonna be
You're
like, I get it.
you're
Vogue
seven,
was still Klingon. They just made him look like Ash Tyler,
and
grafted
you
his
and your
consciousness together.
17 children and 400 grandchildren are gonna be all like looking at each other like he's speaking gibberish, doctor. Like, what's he saying? He's talking about Vogue and grafting on consciousness. It's like,
And he popped his last erection talking about decoupling.
oh my God, the arc will be that's gonna be why you leave the world because that mystery was your tether, and once it's
That's right.
solved, you've completed your purpose.
Yep, I will have
You will have
completed my
completed your
purpose.
purpose, and you will go off into the ether to join
Oh
Shimmer.
man, I'll disappear like Yoda. Oh jeez,
Was
what a fucking
Klingon
mess.
in the sky.
You know,
and then you just disappear.
it's kind of a dick move that Obi-Wan has to come back as a blue ghost from when he's a crusty old man, but they retcon Anakin to come back as like a 25-year-old, you know, fit, hot to trot youngin.
Because that's when Anakin Skywalker died. And that
From
happened.
a certain point of view.
The good man who was your father was destroyed. He ceased to be Anakin Skywalker and became Darth Vader.
Oh,
It's a
man.
bullshit explanation.
Yes, it is. The real reason is probably because Ewan McGregor told him to fuck off when they asked if he'd come back and film himself being a blue ghost. He's like, no, fuck you.
Yeah.
But Hayden, whatever his name was like, oh yeah, I kind of need some money.
Well, no, it's probably because everybody knows who Alec Guinness is and nobody knows the name of the dude that was Ghost Vader.
David Prowse.
That's true.
Some people do. I was going to say. Some people do because Star Wars nerds, but thank you, Warden.
All right.
Warden,
Mm.
what did you think of this season? Do you think, I mean, did you like it? Did you like it? I can't say it without laughing. What did you think of this season? Sorry.
I think I liked it better than the first season of Picard. But that's a very low bar.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I enjoyed it the same way I enjoyed the really good drugs they give you in the hospital.
You can give me the drugs any day over this bullshit.
I mean, if you think about it, it's it feels pretty much all right while you're going through it, I guess. But you have to go through, given what you have to go through to get them, it's not worth it.
Okay. All right. Oh, you saved that metaphor in the last episode, just like Star Trek Picard.
Well, it was where I was going with it.
Good. No, you did a good job. You could write for Star Trek.
I could rate far better than Star Trek.
Oh man, that is the sheer fucking hubris of this episode. That right there.
Holy shit balls. All right.
Broke the fourth wall, Warden. You son of a bitch.
What was your favorite part of the episode, Ward?
I suppose the wrap up at the end with Q's wrap up, where he's doing his explanation dump at the end, only because for the first time you see him this whole fucking season, he's actually acting like Q for once. So that I kind of enjoyed. So I'm gonna say it's that.
Boy, you want to talk about taking credit for somebody else's work. I agree with you. The Picard Q interaction at the end, best part of the episode, and it has nothing to do with this whole goddamn 10-hour piece of shit stopping
Mm-hmm.
series. It is all because of the work TNG did.
Mm-hmm.
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 Willie, what was, you want to tell me what was bad or what was good? I feel like, I don't know. What was something?
What was bad? Well, I'm still gonna give bad to like the whole lead up to the launch with like Larry Talon dying and all, like
Mm-hmm.
none of it had to have. It's just I just don't whatever. Just fuck it. It was bad. It didn't make any sense. And again, we don't have to do these. Good writing wouldn't have gotten us to that point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, the good, I would probably say this was like a fucking crow's nest on your fishing line. And you get to the end of this season, right? And you don't know how the fuck you're gonna straighten this line out and without just having to cut it. But somehow they fucking sorted through the jumbled mess and made a somewhat coherent ending to all the random threads. I'll give it to them. We were sitting here last episode after episode 9 saying, how are they possibly going to try and tie up all these loose
Mhm.
ends? Now, a lot of them they tied up with like a 2 to 3 minute just expose,
2
but
to 3 minutes. Like
you know,
17 seconds, you
yeah.
mean?
But at least, like, I feel like on Discovery we kept complaining because it would be like they just totally forgot about subplots, and then they
Mm-hmm.
just randomly throw them back in. At least pretty much everything that had happened this season, even though they shouldn't have been related, it was like a very poorly written Seinfeld episode, right? They all
Good. That's good
culminated in
analogy.
the end.
That's a good metaphor.
So
Analogy, whatever.
it
I
is
think
Pride Month.
I think this would be a pretty solid Star Trek movie. I think in the 10 or so hours, there's maybe 90 minutes of non bullshit that could, because I think if you streamline it a bit, like, there is absolutely no point to having Soong or Corey or Will Wheaton in this. None. There was 0 point to Time Cop. There was no point to the whole immigrations and customs bullshit. I don't even know if there was any point to Guinan. I think you could cut out a. I seriously think you could cut 80% of this season out and it not affect anything with the main story. I think it would make a decent, maybe 2-part episode. I mean, you might trim it down to 60 minutes, honestly.
I mean, I'm not. I'd have to. It would be difficult, but you could probably even trim out the whole jump to the future or the alternate timeline bit, or at least trim it down considerably.
Oh, you could absolutely cut it out. It is not necessary to the
It
story.
wasn't
Well, no,
relevant.
I take that back. I take that back. They got the Borg Queen there,
Yes, and it
but that
did.
was also the most fun part of the season.
It also it does establish at least some of the stakes because they're like, oh well, we have to go back in time to avert this horrible future. So, I mean, there's that. But I mean, you could write that out and not even have that thread, and it still be. I mean, just
They even tied in why Soong was why they were going to turn to Soong to save themselves in the Nazi future.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys catch that? Remember how?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, you did.
I didn't. Go ahead.
Remember how in the future they looked up and the world was polluted, and to keep I guess the ozone was gone, so they had to deploy those like sun shields things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the things that Soong had to protect Soji. But what they found cleaned up the oceans and the atmosphere, so they didn't have to turn to Soong. It's
I
like
see.
I cannot believe that we wrapped that up and tied that together. There was, it's amazing how much care was taken to wrap up something that it seemed like they put no fucking effort into. It's such a weird season. So strange.
Yeah. It was not a
It's
good season.
it's almost like they did do the planning, but they just got so carried away with their. But they don't know. They know. They know. They know that they know. It's just. It's like they got. I don't know. Like got too cute by like 500%.
It's almost like they wrote the last episode first
Mm-hmm.
and then like got ergot's poisoning or something and started tripping balls, and they woke up and they're all just like laying in a pile naked 24 hours before they're supposed to start filming. They're just like, oh shit, you take episode 1, you take episode 2, you take episode 3, and just fuck it, write something.
Did all that other stuff have to happen? Couldn't they have just been behind on a deadline?
No, his is
No.
better.
Because there's a definite LSD component to this. Like somebody was on mind-altering substances.
That's great. It's good stuff.
Star Trek Picard, season 2, episode 10, but also just season 2 in general, written by a bunch of writers in the post-orgy panic on LSD. All right, now on to Star Trek Strange New Worlds, wrapping up the initial season, the freshman campaign, with episode 10, Quality of Mercy or something
Yes.
like that. And we had said they were coming pretty close to batting 1,000. Did they connect with the last one? Well, let's find out. Oh my god, that was terrible. All right. So this episode obviously draws very obviously it works
Mm-hmm.
better, I think, if you've seen oh shit, Balance of
Balance
Terror.
of Terror.
But it's not necessary.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's necessary. I think, yeah. And
There's more for you. There's more Easter eggs and there's more aha moments. Remember
yes,
that?
but I mean, they absolutely couldn't rely on the audience having seen Balance of Terror because it's been a while.
I guess the script holds up because there are a whole lot of lines that are yanked straight out of the script from Balance of Terror.
Mm-hmm.
So we said that earlier in the season, we said they had their submarine combat episode, the Run Silent, Run Deep Star Trek,
Mm-hmm.
and I said Star Trek had done this before, and I was thinking specifically of Balance of Terror, so it was interesting that we came back to it. And Warden,
Yep.
I mean, you absolutely called it last week when you're like, well, we've still got one person with a big season arc to wrap up and deal with his issues, and they were like, yep, that Warden fella's pretty smart. We're going to deal with Pike and his one big arc and his issue to wrap up. So here we go. Quality of Mercy. They start out on the edge of the neutral zone. And they're talking about the Romulans like they're the space boogeymen, which I was immediately like, yep, I remember that from Balance of Terror. And Pike, ever the not
Boy
Boy
Scout.
Scout, is doing all. He's always doing his best work in his apron.
So was that chick like his girlfriend?
Yeah. She
So
was the chick in the cabin with him in the snow when he had the beard at the beginning.
yeah. So do you think he fessed up to nailing the infanticide woman
That's a
on the
good
strange
question.
planet?
I forgot about
I
that.
think that they must have forgotten that part. Either that, or I guess they had an open relationship.
Yeah, I mean, one wonders,
Different
are they
zip codes.
actually boyfriend and girlfriend, or
My
just
God, are we really arguing about boyfriend girlfriend status on a Star Trek episode?
Mm.
I just remember thinking because I didn't remember her, and then
It was the same girl. At the
and then
I guess at the very
yeah,
least, they're
it
fucking.
was.
well, and they showed a little like flashback, so I mean it made sense. And then I started thinking, I was like, didn't Pike nail some chick a few episodes back?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
You get a freebie to deal with the trauma of child murder. He
I
just
guess.
took his preemptively.
Yeah, I was about to say he didn't know that was the trauma yet.
It's the ultimate aphrodisiac. Oh God, that's so.
Oh
I
my
can't even say
gosh!
that.
Oh boy!
Oh,
Oh boy!
I couldn't even get
Wow.
through that one.
The opinions in this show do not represent the entire writing staff.
Or even the person that said it.
No.
Well, that's always seems to be the case often, but yeah.
Okay.
Oh boy!
So while he's sitting there
But
doing the
anywho,
dishes, Future Pike comes back, and
He's wearing the Star
I got a
Trek
little bit of a gripe.
movie.
I got a little bit of a gripe because I was like, "Oh my God, I love those uniforms." But like, don't mess with perfection. They look so goddamn good. Just don't touch them. They changed them up just enough to make me be like, "Why did you change it?"
What did they change?
they made it kind of.
Collar was a little higher, like a turtleneck.
No, they have there's continuity with the Discovery era uniforms. If you look, the detailing on the sleeves, and it's a little trimmer.
I didn't like how the flappy flap came down so much lower, so it
Yes.
made the shoulder thing have to come like all the way mid chest. I liked it where it was just on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The
It's
Pike
like,
was an admiral, though, right? He had
Yes.
his little admiral leaf.
Yes.
Yep.
He still wears a lot of hair product, but he seemed like much more
Oh, his hair was so perfect.
subdued.
Mhm.
But like his personality seemed much more subdued and everything.
Yeah.
Look, Willie, Pikes Peak is a national monument. You don't fuck with it. Okay.
Nice.
But yeah, I saw that uniform and I was like, "Woof." They are. I mean, they weren't just tugging that nostalgia dick for me. They were blowing on it, and it felt good. But they didn't. They did. But they didn't like put the tongue down.
They didn't mind the stepchildren.
No, they didn't stick the tongue out to cover those bottom teeth, so it was a little bit of a scrape when I looked at that. That's some free advice to the ladies out there. Always stick the tongue out to cover the bottom teeth, because nobody likes to scrape them. Or dudes out there. It's Pride Month, so whatever. Go. Everybody go fillet.
Everybody go suck a dick.
Unless you don't have a dick, and then munch a box.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my God.
Hey man, you get yourself into these messes.
Pride Month is brought to you by 200 years of oppression. The same people that bought you women's suffrage and the civil rights movement. Pride Month on sheer fucking hubris. You guys gotta quit trying to sidetrack me with Pride Month.
Oh man.
Anywho. So they're on the neutral zone border and they're going over. Oh no, wait. Breakfast was first. I forgot. Then they met with the people on the neutral zone, the commander of the outpost, and he's like, "Meet my son." And Pike's like, "Oh my God, you're one of the guys that dies And so he
Yeah,
gets
so he freaks out.
freaked out. Because even though he's like read up on everything about him, he's like, oh, but I did not know he lived there now. Whatever. He gets back and Pike he starts to write a letter. Dear Mr. Salazar, or whatever the fuck his name was, please don't join the Federation. Yours truly, Admiral Pike, Captain Pike. And then Admiral Pike's like, not a good idea. And Pike's like, how the fuck did you get here? He's like, you remember that Borath bullshit? He's like, they gave me a time crystal. Like, they gave you a time crystal? He's like, they wanted to use a bat'leth, but you know.
Yeah, they wanted it to come butcher you, but
I was like, okay.
But since the Klingons are so open-minded, they decided not to.
And he's like, what's wrong with the future? And Admiral Pike is like, the Borg are everywhere. He's like, no, but the Romulans really are. Pike's like, what's the Borg? He's like, just touch the goddamn time crystal. So he does, and we're magically transported back in time to 1966. Also in the future. And this time, we're all set up for Balance of Terror, except Pike is still in command of the Enterprise because he dodged that whole boo box bullet. And
so he's calling the shots, not Kirk.
And
but everything else was pretty much the same.
And Spock is like, he tells Spock about it. He's like, well, frankly, the most logical thing is that you're losing your mind. It's like, fair enough. He's like, look, let's not do this step and fetch it bullshit. Just mind meld me and you'll know I'm telling the truth. And he's like, oh, yep, you're legit. So basically, from that point on, it's the plot that's driving the episode is Balance of Terror. I mean, very often shot for shot. The difference, so I won't go through all that. The difference is that this time James Kirk has been promoted to captain of the Farragut, which was the ship he served on, I think, before the Enterprise. And so now now there's two of them. And Pike is kind of looking at this Kirk guy like, maybe he's the one that fucks all this up. He's like, because clearly it's not going to be me. Because I'm Captain Pike. Have you seen my hair? Anyway, and you know, the crew is not exactly person for person, but they're stand-ins. Like Lieutenant Taco is there instead of Commander Klansman. And
Commander Klansman. But they did switch seats, so they would match the Asian Islander with Sulu.
right, but Sulu's not there. It's
Miss Sulu.
Miss not Sulu. And you know, same.
Uhura got promoted.
Uhura got promoted. She went to a lieutenant, which is what she was in that episode in Balance of Terror. And Pike is surprised that Spock is number one and not Una.
It seemed like the bridge changed up a little bit. Did it?
I believe, yeah, it did.
Yes,
it
seemed darker. More warlike, but.
Well, it was also, I think, supposed to be closer to the bridge of the Enterprise from.
Yeah,
like it had the little like microscope thing that Spock was looking in. Balance of Terror.
Oh, that's so stupid. Anyway,
but we didn't get to see Scotty. Scotty was there. Kirk was there.
We got to hear Scotty.
We got to hear Scotty. Yep.
I mentioned that last episode, and we need to see Scotty. I said they'd bring him on, but
well, it was a good way to sidestep they weren't ready to cast a new chief engineer after Himmer died. They got away from it.
And Lon is also been promoted and is on the Farragut with Kirk.
So. And Una's gone.
Una's gone. She's in a penis colony. And then we get some shots of the Romulan ship, like on the Romulan bridge, kind of like we did back in Balance of Terror. And I had forgotten just how closely modeled after the Roman Empire the Romulans were when they first showed up. I mean, I knew that they were Remus, but I had forgotten that they wore togas.
Yeah.
And Praetorians and Centurions.
Yeah. Well, I remember that, but I didn't remember that. I thought they just had a little sash on their shoulder. I didn't realize that it matched their skirt, so that it
Mhm.
actually looked like a toga.
Mhm.
Anyway, then we see the Romulan ship, just like balanced there. They try the Kirk maneuver, it doesn't work. Whatever. Ship shoots them, and this time, because Spock was in a Jeffries tube working on
The phaser systems instead of under the desk.
right, he gets the brunt of it, and oh, sorry. I forgot. Prior to this, once Kirk came on board, Kirk's like, you got to give him the Vulcan hello, and Spot's like, I concur. Pike's like, no, we're gonna talk about this. It's like, you may have heard something about this, but I'm a bit of a Boy Scout. It's like, we're gonna do this right, because God damn it, Kirk, I'm not gonna let you start a war with the Romulans. So they try to talk, and it doesn't work. And instead, the Romulans attack. Spock gets fucked up.
Yeah, like it's missing a leg.
He was missing a leg. His face was all burnt. Basically, they're gonna have to put Spock in the boo box instead.
That's right. Yeah.
And we got to see Nurse Chapel. She was all sad.
She was a doctor now, though. Or at
Doctor
least she had a uniform on instead of the white jumpsuit.
And she's like, he may recover, but he's got to go in the boo box. And Pike's like, no, that was supposed to be me. I still like
Not the boo box.
boo.
The boo box.
Tell your captain the truth. I still like Nurse Chapel.
Mhm.
I want her. I like her and Spock. I guess I'm shipping them. Spackle. I don't know what you call them. Spackle, chalk, something.
Spackle.
I like Spackle. We'll go with Spackle. I'm a Spackle
Spackle's
shipper.
a good one. Yeah.
And then, let's see. And after Pike gave him the 2 hour, so we had a 2 hour ceasefire, and Kirk's like, what the fuck are you doing, dog? Just kill him. He's like, no, it's going to work. But, somebody called for help. And so the whole Romulan armada shows up, including Miss Praetor. She's like, ha ha.
Gotcha, bitch.
And Kirk's like, hang on, I'm coming with reinforcements. And he brought all these mining trucks. I thought Kirk was going to get killed. I thought that was going to be the thing that fucked everything up. But
Yeah, same here.
anyway.
But I liked his explanation. He's like, we haven't seen them for 100 years. They don't know what the fuck our ships look like. For all they know, these are our ships. I thought that
Yeah.
was a good explanation for
I
what
did too.
what he did.
I did too. So then the commander's like,
And
well,
I liked the actor who played Kirk.
You
I thought he
did?
did a good job. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did not care for him.
I liked him.
I mean, look, he's got a tough
Exactly. That's the thing.
job.
How are you going to possibly fill Bill Shatner's shoes in that role? And so I thought, I didn't feel like he tried to, and maybe that was why I liked him, because I feel like if you had tried to be William Shatner's Kirk, you would have just totally fucked it up. Well,
It's just I think part of it is so Anson Mount's show that like when he's on screen, he just oozes coolness and gravitas. And so like just about anybody you put on screen beside him to kind of go up against him or play off of him, it just I would have liked to have seen Bill Shatner and Anson Mount actually act together. I felt like Kirk kind of blended into the background a little bit.
well, but
Maybe.
that was the thing. He was kind of supposed to, right? I mean, he was just another captain. It wasn't his show.
But he's not just another captain. He's James T. fucking Kirk, man.
But he didn't. Yeah, we can talk about it as the show goes on. But like, I mean, was James T. fucking Kirk James T. fucking Kirk at that point in his career?
You are looking at the only cadet to win the Kobayashi Maru scenario. They probably knew that about him. I mean,
That's
look,
probably true.
I get it. he was not the Kirk we knew yet.
Mhm.
But
There was nobody they could have put on screen except William Shatner from the 1960s, who I think you would have been able to say, man, he did a great job being Kirk.
you're right. I will not be pleased on this. There was nothing they could do. There's just no pleasing me.
And there's just no pleasing you.
So anyway, they fight, and they have Star Trek Discovery season 2 pew pew-a-thon, and the Enterprise gets the hell out of there, and Pike goes back. He's like, fuck this up. And Admiral Pike shows up and is like, I told you were gonna fuck it up. He's like, brother, we gotta go back in the boo box. He's like, I understand. He's
Because
like,
no
you
matter
think
how you do it, you fuck it up in every scenario.
every goddamn one. He's like, and if you don't trust me, trust the Klingons on Borath, because they never
wanna
lie.
kill you.
Anyway, and I do. They could have kind of wrapped it up with that. I really like that they added the scene where Pike is, I think he's looking at Kirk's service record, and Spock comes in and they talk a little bit, and Spock's like, I don't know the specifics, but I get the feeling that I owe you a tremendous debt, Chris. He calls him Chris for the first time.
Yeah.
I really liked that scene because to me it's a nice retcon that just adds even more to
When Spock takes him in the boo box back to the menagerie planet.
Yeah, in the cage or the menagerie. I forget which one was the actual episode, which one was the Dick in a Box episode.
Mhm.
The clip show.
Yeah, clip show. But it, like, now you totally get why Spock would do that for Pike.
Yeah.
You kind of got it before, but now you're like, that makes total sense. And even though it really, really fucking sucks that Pike's still going to end up in the boo box, sounds like they just changed that. Because why not at this point? So many time travel shenanigans, who cares? Now they've said, nope, it has to be this way, and this is why, and I guess it's a good reason. I guess I can live with it. I can accept it.
Yeah.
It was as well done as I could imagine.
Well, and it set the expectation that they're not going to try and redeem that.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They clearly said we are
Pike is
set
going
course
in the
for
boo
boo
box.
full speed, hit it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Pike is okay with it now. Like this helped him accept his fate. So it was a really well done episode.
Mhm.
The one final thing, it's not really a. I guess you call it a teaser. It's not like it's a cliffhanger or anything. They come to get Una, and Pike's like, "This is not over." I'm like, well, we'll see.
Yeah.
There's a season 2 now, so.
Was there something about that from like historical Trek canon that I missed, or was that just
No.
No.
The historical Trek canon is that Roddenberry put his wife on the bridge as number 1 in the first episode, and then he's like, "Okay, well,
now
you're
the
getting
show's been
older.
picked
You
up?
just be you're gonna be the computer." Until she came back as Loaxana Troy.
Okay. Well, I gotta say, I had so much fucking fun with this episode because on your recommendation, I watched Balance of Terror right before it.
Yeah.
And first off, for that to have been a 1966 show, and I mean, it felt 1966, and it was
It
like
did.
super Cold War, like, implications. It was still a damn good episode.
Oh, it really
A
was.
damn
It
good
sure as
episode.
hell is. Yes.
And then going from that, and I mean, the thing about it is, there wasn't a lot of techno babble. There was a little bit, but you had to take some of it just on, on faith. But like all the shit made sense. So like, we haven't seen him in 100 years. It was before a time when we could even see people. Like we have no idea what they look like, you know,
And
and it was couldn't
couldn't take
talk to them.
prisoners because we were just launching nukes at each other in space, and it wasn't like
Yeah.
our ships could
Mhm.
board, and yeah.
Like it was just it was really well done. By the way, was that Sarek? Was the actor who played the Roman or the Roman
Yeah,
the Romulan
yes,
captain?
it
Okay, that
was.
was Sarek.
I was a little disappointed because you remind me that I thought it would have been really cool if they had gotten the actor for Sarek from Discovery and had him play the Romulan commander in this.
That would have
Put a
been good.
little tip of the cap. Because we
Mhm.
know new Star Trek doesn't shy away from casting people in different fucking roles for no reason. There would actually been a reason for this.
But but watching Balance of Terror and then turning around and watching that and seeing all the nods, seeing all the callbacks. Um, I I thought this episode was as close to a perfect Star Trek episode as we've seen in a very long time. I loved
It
it.
was really well done.
I
Mhm.
That was
loved it.
really well done. Ain't nobody raised one eyebrow like Nimoy though.
No, but he tried. He sure
He
enough
tried.
tried.
He tried, but
Um,
oh, it was.
but I also thought it was funny, like as I watched Balance of Terror, I was like, huh, the Vulcan hello was not a Discovery invention, was it? Like technically that was kinda
Mhm. Yeah.
that that was basically what Spock recommended in
Mhm.
that episode of TOS.
Yep.
Now, once Discovery did it, they fucked it up and said it was because the Vulcans did it to the Klingons.
Yeah.
But no, I thought I had a lot of fun, and I appreciate the recommendation for watching Balance of Terror first. Even
Mhm.
though I had to wait till my wife went to bed because she wouldn't let me watch it because she's like, this is just too much." It's like I could do the new ones, I can't do this one, and I mean it is it is super dated. Holy shit!
Mhm.
But I mean, at one point you actually see, I'm pretty sure Uhura was either wearing bloomers or red panties,
Yeah, you
and I
see,
mean,
yes, you do.
like the uniforms were just comedically short. And
Mhm.
Beehive lady gets scared and hugs Kirk at one point,
I know. He like pulls her to him.
and Kirk
Ah,
consoles
Yeoman
like
Rand.
the widower or the widow. He consoles her.
I thought he was
Um,
like about to sympathy boner.
I did too. They did flip that around, and the
It is
man
the
died,
ultimate
not the woman.
aphrodisiac.
There you go. You and your damn aphrodisiacs. Who are you, Chaz on Wedding Crashers?
That was the reference I was
Yeah, I
going for
know.
at that time. Yeah.
But anyway, no, I thought it was
God
incredibly
damn
well
you,
done.
Roger! And that what he said at the funeral.
Yeah.
Right.
Damn it! Damn it!
God, why? Anyway, sorry. I did not mean to interrupt your very valid point that you were making. I'm
That's
serious.
okay.
My
Well, I mean
stupid bullshit.
that that was probably it. Like I have no complaints about that episode. Like it
Mhm.
totally sucked me in, and like I said, had I not seen Balance of Terror, it still would have been a great episode. It just
Mhm.
wouldn't have pulled me in probably quite as much. Um, but I mean, I loved how they stuck true to it.
Mhm.
Um, but anyway, love
Have
the
you seen?
ships. The
Have you
ships
seen
are
the?
pretty. You know,
Yeah.
like they gave the Romulan Warbird a visual update, right? But
Mhm.
not that much of one. I mean,
Right.
it pretty much
No.
looked the same. The way the weapons fired looked the same.
Well,
Yeah.
You know.
that's the same one we saw in Picard.
Yeah, that is
Oh,
true.
oh, when the pirate
Some.
had one or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
first season of Picard. Yeah.
Yeah. It was. Yeah. It was really good.
And it made sense, right? Balance of Terror, Kirk blows the ship up, and it was kind of like, oh fuck, they just blew up our latest and greatest. Like we should probably rethink this.
Mhm.
And then in this one, where Pike says, "Hey, no, let's talk about it. We're damaged. You're damaged. Let's do some work." Um,
None of the lines
you know,
felt. All the lines felt pretty organic. pulled, even though they're pulled straight from a 1966 episode and sometimes using different situations, except the in another lifetime we could have been friends. Felt a little bit forced, I thought, but it's such an iconic line that, well,
Yeah.
might as well. Um, yeah, it was good. Willie had no complaints about a time travel episode.
But it wasn't time travel, and that was why.
That's
It was more
that's
like a vision.
that's true. Have you seen the Deep Space Nine episode where they go back to the TOS era?
No.
It's another one that's really well done. It's like they actually use footage from an episode of Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
It's worth watching. We need to give Willie a list of DS9 episodes to watch at some point.
Yes.
So, do you have anything bad about this episode, Willie?
I mean, I could probably nitpick some things, but honestly, like nothing about this episode like made me cringe or made me say like, well, that was kind of dumb. So no, I mean, like I said, I'm not just going to nitpick it for the sake of finding it bad. Maybe
Warden?
the ships are still pretty squishy. Like he blew up the Farragut pretty easily, I felt like. But
Well, it was new weapons technology though that they had never tried to counter. It was the first big disruptor blast. So,
that's true.
It's a Romulan plasma torpedoes.
or plasma torpedo,
Well,
whatever.
the Farragut got hit with just the disruptor cannons.
Did they? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Warden, do you have a criticism
No,
that you
this
pick for the
was
bad in this episode?
I'm exactly where Willie is. I would have to nitpick to a degree that feels oddly out of place even for us.
Fuck you!
eh,
I don't nitpick. There are legitimate bad things in all these other episodes.
but we usually still can find something.
That's
But
true.
yeah, no, this was they. I mean, if anything, it's just what is they've basically they riffed on what is variably considered, if not the best, one of the top 3 episodes of the original series.
Mhm.
So I mean, if there's anything to say bad about it, it's that they took a softball. Um,
But they did their own thing with it.
yes, they did.
The way that they tied up, tied it into Pike's arc and why he has to do what he has to do.
Mhm.
I mean, I still don't know why he can't just like save everybody and then retire that day. But I guess the point was, and Pike even said it, causality is a tricky thing.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
and I think part of it too was he felt like, I guess, Spock or someone else would have to take his place. If somebody's going in the boo box.
Mhm. Right. Well, and yeah. Yeah, and I thought it was really well done. Um it's and this may be playing into something that you what the next thing you're going to ask, but um I think it is probably the best episode in a very good season of television. Um
No,
so
you read my mind
I mean,
like a mind mode.
it is just so stunning to me that this show hits it so well, so consistently, and the other two can't get out of their own way so consistently. And it's just like, I don't understand. I just don't understand because, I mean, this,
I mean,
I mean,
yeah,
honestly, Strange New Worlds is actually, in many ways, it's an aberration because Star Trek shows do not have nail it out of the park freshman seasons. They just don't.
That's
yeah,
true. Although I will argue that the world has changed, and I think we've made this point before. In the era of big budget streaming services, uh,
you have a
series
season
like
3 or
this,
4 budget in season 1.
you
Hmm.
you typically see shows be very good out the gate and peter out about season 3 or 4, which is where Star Trek would usually hit its stride.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Um, you know, uh, yeah, I would say that Strange New Worlds, though, I mean, it is excellent not just for a Star Trek series.
Hmm.
It's excellent for a TV show, period.
Yes.
Because and the decision to do episodic content in a shortened streaming season with that budget allowed them to really trim it down and just get 10 very good stories and hit
Hmm.
it out of the park on those. Because even with, it seems like every series I watch that's a season long arc, even if it's a series that I like, not every episode is going to be that engaging. And there are going to be some that I'm like, okay, inevitably it feels like this was treading water. And because they were able to do something different every week, I never got that feeling with
Hmm.
Strange New Worlds. I thoroughly enjoyed, maybe not thoroughly, I thoroughly enjoyed most weeks. I enjoyed every single episode. And I never felt like, oh, this was just filler. Even the silly Elysian Kingdom
Hmm.
episode, I mean, I loved it. I thought that was so much fun. And again, I think it's because I wasn't, you're not expecting it to go drive some sort of larger season plot, but they did such a good job too with carrying over certain elements.
Well,
It's such a good season.
that's what I was
hmm
I was gonna say. Is it's like they're not trying to have these season arcs, but at the same time, they're carrying things through more coherently and more consistently than the shows that are trying to do it on purpose.
yeah.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, visually, it was a stunning series,
Hmm.
right? Think about what Discovery tried to do, getting creative with like ship designs and all that. And I mean, they basically stuck to the mold, just tweaked it. And I mean, it looked, you know, the show looked phenomenal, great characters.
I,
Um, I
you know,
just,
because of
I
I'm sorry, Willie. I shouldn't interrupt you.
no. I mean, you got. It. I mean, we're all just fucking fawning over it at this point. Like,
Well,
let's take our turn. But I mean, it was fantastic.
well, and we because of the format of the way we're doing this show, we didn't really get into it as much, but I really have an appreciation for how they are are approaching updating the original series look in this
Mhm.
show way more than I did when especially initially with Discovery,
Yep.
Right. It's
because
like they took the bridge, kept it the same, and tweaked it. Just to make it look not so dated,
it, and it, and
but
it
it
Continue
still
voyaging.
feels like the same bridge.
and it still
Continue voyaging.
definitely looks, it still has the 20 teens gloss or the 2020s gloss on it, and all of that stuff, but it you know where you are immediately.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot less. Let's just change shit to change it,
Yeah.
like the way the Klingons look in Discovery.
Hmm.
which didn't bother me too terribly much. But the other thing is Discovery. Remember, we talked about them inventing technology,
Mm-hmm.
and Strange New Worlds did a really good job of kind of sticking to what was. I mean, it really respects TOS.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not necessarily as a huge deal to me, but I appreciate that they did it.
Well, and part of that's just the constraints of the concept that they're doing. I mean, this is the same ship.
Yeah.
It's not even the same. It's not that it's the same era. It's the same fucking ship.
Yeah.
They can't go too far afield.
They can't put a spore drive on it and make it whoop, 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 whoop.
Yes.
Really good season. 10, they went 10 for 10 in my opinion.
And
Yeah, probably the worst. Probably the worst episode of the season was the pirate episode, and that was still a good episode.
mhm. And
It was just a little less. It was just a little sillier,
Mhm.
but again, it wasn't a fail. It was just not a home run.
Yeah.
And I would watch that again. I would if like my wife or kids were like, I want to watch Star Trek show with you because I want to be interested in what you like. But I mean, none of them will fucking do that because they don't care what I like. But if they did, I would absolutely be like, yes, we'll watch Strange New Worlds. I watch every episode over again. I don't want to watch like any of the other two shows episodes over. But I'd sit down and I'd rewatch this tomorrow.
Mhm. And I am legit excited to watch season 2. I haven't been excited to watch Star Trek in ages, but I am just. It is.
Well,
I mean, yeah.
And speaking for me personally, Strange New Worlds made this season of sheer fucking hubris bearable. Because there were weeks where I was in a dark place after those first two.
That's why it was always the last one I watched, the palate cleanser.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really is amazing when instead of setting out to create this ending, this season ending epic that will blow your fucking mind. They just are like, you know what? We're going to write 10 goddamn good episodes. And we're
Mhm.
going to focus on making them just 10. We're going to tell 10 stories that are awesome. We'll have some stuff carry over, but we're going to make 10 great episodes. And it came together so well. It was just, chef's kiss. Beautiful. It's beautiful.
Belloc.
Yes.
Belloc.
They call him Beloche.
Belloc.
And I hate to I hate putting things in boxes because I don't think it's fair creatively to put things in boxes. But it's really it makes it hard to not think this is the format that works for Star Trek. This is what makes Star Trek good. It's being able to tell short form there is nothing wrong with short fiction. There is nothing wrong with short stories. They can be powerful, they can be meaningful. It doesn't need to be this big long epic thing every time. Star Wars works with the epic because that's what Star Wars is. Star Trek isn't that. Star Trek is individual stories, and they really need to get back to more of that.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't mean you don't do the Deep Space Nine thing and have the overarch of several season arc of the Dominion War or something. But even then, you had stories.
See, Go ahead. Sorry. Continue.
No, I mean that's basically where I was. I mean, I just don't think that Star Trek. I think some of it's just crappy writing with Discovery and Picard, but I think some of it is just the ambition of trying to squeeze at the kind of universe and the story and scale of Star Trek, it almost feels like it's almost inevitable that if you try to do something that's worthy of a season of television, a story that's worthy of a season of television, it's going to be too big. And it's going to
Hmm.
get ridiculous and convoluted and
I am so very disappointed that you used the word ambition when you could have said sheer fucking hubris.
I'm sorry.
But I agree totally. And you brought up DS9, and I was actually going to make this point that even though this is episodic, it actually to me feels as much like DS9 as TNG because there is so much connective tissue.
Hmm.
And DS9, we've talked about it about having, being the first to do the season long arcs and I mean, an overarching, really 7 season arc, six, 7 seasons, whatever.
Hmm.
But there are so many good standalone episodes. And because it wasn't this 10 episode sprint to something that's supposed to blow your goddamn mind, it was always a more of a slow burn and it was, a little bit more loosely connected through story. And there were certain episodes that didn't even touch the overarching situation in the galaxy. And DS9 was just the right mix of a freedom to tell your story while carrying things over. Um, and I think Strange New Worlds nails that. And interestingly enough, even though again it's episodic, there are more lasting consequences from what goes on
Hmm.
in Strange New Worlds than say Discovery, where there's no fucking consequences.
Hmm. It's almost like when they're writing things in an episodic way, they're like, "Oh, we need to make an effort to make sure we understand what happened in the other one more, because that changed things."
Hmm.
Whereas with they're just like, "We have this. We're going to get from point A to point B. Who gives a shit what happens in the middle?" Uh,
Yeah, well, I mean that's what these other two shows felt like was all right. We have an idea for an ending. Now we've got to figure out how to make it take 10 goddamn episodes to get there, and all we care about is getting there, and hopefully we're going to blow people's mind in the last 30 minutes.
yeah. When honestly, all they had, kind of like what you said about Picard, all they really had was the idea, enough idea for an episode.
Yep, yep. I think that you can trim Discovery down to one good 2-part episode, and I feel the same way about Picard. I don't
Hmm.
said that exactly, but yeah, both of them wrote
Yeah.
one, if I'm being generous, maybe 2 good episodes, had 2 good story ideas. Disco had, Strange New Worlds had 10.
Hmm.
Yeah. Like, what would have been the problem with Species 10C popping up and we just have to get out there to talk to them without the entire side arc of the isolytic weapon warhead and all that stuff, right?
There was
Like in
no
the
cage
end,
fighting necessary.
there was no there was no relevance of that side arc other than trying to give Book a redemption arc, which you could have done within the confines of a coherent episode. But because his redemption arc in the end was still talking to the 10C,
Hmm.
right? Well,
Yeah.
he still could have just gone along and been pouty the whole way and done it anyway, you know. But
Well, yeah, especially if there's not going to be any consequences to all the stuff he did.
Hmm.
hmm
He could have made that same speech, whether he did that or not, because he still had the same pain of losing his planet and his family.
yeah,
I
Hmm.
mean,
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, in that there was 4 episodes worth of material of him and Tarka just flying around. You know, going here, going there, doing this thing.
Ultimately, I don't think Tarka even contributed anything. I mean, he figured out about the power source, but
Well, he
didn't,
figured out how to get out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was the
no,
one that helped modify their ship, but he still could have done that. He could have just been a super smart scientist working with the Federation.
no, I don't think he figured out how to modify their shields. Was he the one that came up with programmable antimatter?
I thought he was, but I could be wrong.
But by
I
that
mean,
point, he was already on the lam.
who gives a
Mm-hmm.
shit anyway?
I think he figured it out for Book's ship, but Discovery figured it out on their own. I don't know. Yeah, you're right.
No,
Let's
who
not
cares?
any more brain power thinking about it's over. It's
Mm-hmm.
over. All right. So, first of all, for this week, Willie, what's your pick for the good?
I think that one's pretty obvious. I'm gonna
I'm betting
go.
that's not
It's actually a
Discovery.
part A and part B. It's gonna be Strange New Worlds and the original series.
Are the good?
Yeah,
So,
I think we just lost Joe Bob, did we? There
so
he is.
Okay.
yeah. Sorry, technical difficulty, real quick. What was your pick for the bad?
Hard.
Leaving Discovery is the sheer fucking hubris.
Yeah, and I believe I beat that horse to death why I felt that way.
Biblio Warden.
You know what? No, I'm gonna stick with it.
Cool, because that means I get to disagree with you.
Mm-hmm.
Strange New Worlds, definitely the good. Absolutely. Beyond a shadow of a doubt. Discovery was bad. Discovery was just flat bad. And then the Picard is definitely and most appropriately the sheer fucking hubris. Given that where that the title of our show comes from. Because I to basically take to cap off 10 episodes of madness with basically narratively basically exactly where we started and none of it mattered really and just like and having the balls to think any of that is satisfying. It's
That
it
is
Yeah,
fair enough. Well, y'all gonna hate me.
the tiebreaker.
All right. For the bad, I have Disco. I mean, it was fine for
Mhm.
Disco episodes, just so boring. For the hubris, I'm gonna go Strange New Worlds. Now, I don't know if it's totally fair to call it hubris because they pulled it off, but man, that takes some cojones to
Okay.
build your episode off of and to just you take straight up take the dialogue and just say, you know what, bam, just like throw your dick out on the table and say, look at it, people. It still looks. It may be 60 years old, but it's still glorious. And don't get me wrong when I give Star Trek Picard the good, because this was not necessarily a good episode, and it definitely was not a good season. But I was legitimately impressed with the way that they pulled it all together as well as they did. I was not just legitimately impressed, I was shocked. I thought we were headed for a complete fucking train wreck to the point that it almost disappointed me a little that it was done so coherently. I don't, it's. I got to tip my cap to him on that. And you know what? Again, they took credit for feelings that were built up during TNG.
Mm-hmm.
But I still really liked the Q and Picard goodbye. Mm, mm,
Well, there you go.
yeah.
We all disagreed. That may be the first time that's happened.
This is the second time, I think. I think maybe the second or third episode we all had different ones.
Well, you just wanted to give Picard the good because they tugged on your nostalgia dick.
I told you they got a little squirt from me. White alert. White alert.
Oh, geez.
Now, if we're going seasons, good, the whole season, the good, the bad, and the hubris, I can confidently say we all picked Strange New Worlds as the good season.
Right.
Yep.
So give me your bad and hubris, Biblio Warden.
They match the final episodes. Good. The bad is the bad is Discovery because it's just generic bad.
Mm-hmm.
And the I'm having trouble. I can't speak. Picard is just the sheer fucking hubris. It's just why?
Mm-hmm.
It just why? And the thing is that Patrick Stewart came back to Star Trek with the explicit understanding that he didn't want to do just a reunion tour of the Next Generation nostalgia dick jerk off kind of thing. He wanted to do some sort of serious story, and I'm like, then why didn't you do that?
Well, I think that's what they tried. I mean, I think they tried to stick to that in season 1, and it's like I can feel them just like reeling him in, like, this is shit, Patrick. Excuse me, Sir Patrick. This is shit. We need to rub that nostalgia dick a little bit, and I think season 3 they're gonna rub it a little harder.
Oh, no, season 3 is gonna be if you got a little squirt from this episode, there's going to be a tsunami in Alabama.
Yeah, drink some Gatorade. Hydrate up.
Star Trek. That's a great way to describe season 2 of Star Trek Picard. It is pre-com. All right,
Oh, man.
Willie.
Sorry, I
Oh yeah, Warden. How could you be so vulgar?
No. I'm talking about.
We'll have to change the rating on this episode.
Kind of quasi doxing. That's all.
No. I mean,
Yeah.
you could just been implying that the Bukkake wave from Ohio would make it all the way south.
Well, as for me, I'm with both you fellas because Disco was just bad. It was bad writing. It was bad plot elements. It was a bad antagonist, I guess you would call. I mean, when you don't even meet the antagonist until the final chapters, that's tough, right?
And okay, this is your time. Sorry.
Yeah, son of a bitch. This is my time. Obviously, Strange New Worlds is the good. I mean, I could just, like I said, I could go on and on about that. And Picard, and I think I want to say that I probably gave the exact same rating to them after season 1. It's like they just sat around in a room and somebody said, some of this stuff doesn't really make much sense. Like, is this what we want to do? And somebody's like, they're going to watch it because it's called Star Trek Picard. It's just, it wasn't well done. It wasn't written well, but because it was Star Trek Picard and Patrick Stewart was involved, people were going to watch it. And they didn't really have to care about the quality or the continuity or anything because it had Picard's name slapped on it and Patrick Stewart was in it. And that was it. And it was like they felt like that was enough to get viewership.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure I said about the same thing about season 1.
I believe it was a similar sentiment, and I'm gonna agree with both of you guys. I mean, Discovery's bad. Picard is, the sheer fucking hubris of. Even though I said that I thought that they did about the best job wrapping it up that they could, they shouldn't have attempted that because it wasn't. I mean, they kept it from being a train wreck, but it's not a very tight season. But I will say this: I legitimately enjoyed Picard at times. There are certain, like, and not only that, but I can actually remember things that happened in Star Trek Picard prior to the last episode. Discovery is so, like, it's not that it's a slow burn. It's just nothing memorable happens. It's so blah. I mean, I remember we met butterfly people, and then they ruined a book. Well, it's like kind of the two things that I remember about this season. And Stacey Abrams. Picard, we had the Space Nazi episode. That was fun. Had Girardi singing goddamn Pat Benatar. Rios was fun. We I kind of liked the Ocean's 11 entering the gala episode. It wasn't great, but it was okay. We also had the stupid ass all in Picard's head Psyche episode. But I think I legitimately have more fun with Picard than I did Discovery. Discovery was just. I've said that I've used this exact phrase to describe it many times. It was a slog. It was a chore to get through. Picard was at times, but at times I was actually enjoying it.
Yeah, I found myself like I would routinely, when watching Discovery, just be like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!"
Yeah.
Like, "Oh, are you kidding me?" Like, I always had some color commentary to go along with Discovery.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was always entranced by Strange New Worlds. I was always, when watching Picard, it was like watching a car accident. You just couldn't look away. Discovery, I was surfing on my phone some. I mean,
Discovery is the longest hour in television.
Yeah, I actually found myself like, I would pause Discovery to be like, "Oh fuck, I've got 30 minutes left." I was pausing like Balance of Terror, like, "Oh my god, there's only 7 minutes left. Like, what are they gonna do?" You know, like I was like yearning for more in those 2 episodes, like, and kind of getting worried that the episode was about over.
Yeah.
Whereas on the others, I'm like, I remember starting some episodes of Discovery and Picard and getting not even through the cold open, which granted that was like a quarter of the episode, but I would just be like, I can't do this right now.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to come back.
oh god, yeah, I had to take like video game breaks and go do something fun.
Yeah.
It was hard to watch some of those in a single setting. Yeah. Oh god, if I can say one thing about Discovery and Picard, every season they've ever made, their pacing of the episodes and the season as a whole is so incredibly awful. That's another thing that I think is just sort of inherently built into these episodic stories is you got between 40 and 60 minutes to tell a story. You got to hit your plot points. You got to keep it pretty tight. Hit your act 1, act 2, act 3 at certain intervals, and it's formulaic, sure, but it's formulaic for a reason. It's because it fucking works.
Mm-hmm.
And this trying to, I don't know, drag out the mystery or pace themselves or make it last 13 episodes, or this episode we're going to have a little bit of a side plot, but we're going to try to tie in just a few little things from this. Pacing is horrible. And then Discovery, once again, did its trademark sprint to the finish line.
Mm-hmm.
And this time it just actually hit the finish line the last episode instead of like season 1 where it hit it 2 episodes too early and then fucked around.
Look, I mean, if nothing else, it proves that there are very few guys that can truly go all night.
Mm.
Well, I guess I'm more
And
like a Picard episode then.
I don't want to go all night if it's going to be
Yeah.
Discovery or Picard.
Well, my pacing's definitely off.
Mm. I need somebody fluffing that nostalgia dick. Mm. Oh my God. Well, gentlemen, we have finished another season of sheer fucking 4 of them already. That's actually
yeah, well,
Oh.
the third
Yeah.
season is lost somewhat on the cutting room floor. Somewhere, I'll
not
look
our
for
fault.
it.
Well, look,
I
just appeal to the
100%.
1050. Maybe it'll beam its way back.
I fully blame that on Discovery, though. That is not our fault. You cannot fumble the ball so goddamn badly and expect anybody to give a shit.
That's fair.
All right.
So what are we doing? What are we doing next?
I don't know, but kumquat yogurt to all you. May we live to watch 100 more seasons of this bullshit. Well, we'll be back next week with something. We haven't decided quite yet, but fear not, Hubris Nation. Your paragons will return with more sheer fucking hubris. Warden, anyone take us out?
This is Biblio Warden, Joe Bob, and Mr. Willie signing off.
All right, guys, let's hug it out.